My sister stole my story and then used it to win a scholarship contest. I think I'm going to expose her before she gets the money. Am I the a-hole? This is my sister, by the way.
Hello, I'm Sophia.
And what do you think?
No.
So if you use my essay, I should make sure you don't get into whatever school you want.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, now that she wants to use my old essays. I, 21 male, have been an avid writer my entire life. I've written 3 full-length novels that I'm almost perpetually reworking and a book of short stories all set within the same universe.
OP, are they good?
Tell us. I've been working on this universe and the characters within it since I was 13, and all of this is very personal to me. This week, I found out that my younger sister, 17 female, won a massive scholarship by submitting one of my short stories. I would have been upset regardless of which story she'd taken, but she happened to pick one based around my experience feeling othered because of my autism. My sister is not autistic and actually bullied me for my autistic traits in the past.
Oh, he's really calling her out.
So the fact that this was the story she picked to steal from me almost feels like an attack. In addition to submitting the story, she also had to write a piece about what inspired her, and even thinking about what she must have made up makes my blood boil.
He should reveal that she's done this in a short story and submit it to the same scholarship.
Oh. My parents are currently struggling for money, and this scholarship would pay for almost her entire first year. Both my parents know what my sister did and have both asked me to just let it slide because my sister having this scholarship is helping her family out a lot. They were also worried that the school my sister has been accepted to might find out and rescind her admission.
Yeah, that's tricky.
They're both using the excuse that she is just a little girl who made a dumb mistake and that it would be petty and over the top for me, an adult man, to hurt her future over it.
She knows what she's doing. She needs to get punished, but I don't know if
ruining her whole
ruining
future
her whole future
is the move. I don't want to hurt my parents financially. I don't even really want to hurt my sister, but I don't want her to have the scholarship. I have all the proof that she is not the real author of the story, but would I be the a-hole if I actually sent it in? Should I just let it go for the benefit of my family? So, Sophia, what do you think OP should do?
That's a tricky one.
And also, I want to see, put in the comments what you think OP should do.
Yeah. I don't know, because I feel like if she loses a scholarship and doesn't get to go to that school,
it screws over the parents.
Yeah, I feel like it more messes with the parents' financials. But I think it's super unfair for her to take his story. And I don't think that she should, I think she needs to be punished, but I don't know how. I don't know.
You know what? I think, well, the thing is, I'm like, maybe he should get a portion of that scholarship.
Yeah, he should get the money.
I mean, maybe she just should get a job during college and like all that money goes to him.
Yeah, he should get something out of it.
What would you do? Put your answers in the comments below. I basically told my son I don't love him, but he's so annoying, so he deserved it. Am I the a-hole?
Oh, that's so sad.
I mean, but he's annoying though. Despite what I told him, I love my son more than anything. I have 3, but I love him least.
Seems like it.
They were all raised to respect everyone regardless of their differences. My 21-year-old and my 19-year-old have that down great. My 16-year-old, however, is bullying a gay boy in his class, and I was less than happy when I found out. His cousin told me. I don't love this kid either.
I was rooting for
before the homophobia. I gave him the chance to invite him over for dinner and apologize, but he refused. He wouldn't say sorry at all. I get it. It's embarrassing being told off in front of your friends, but I don't care. I wasn't happy about this. I ended up grounding him, but it didn't seem to be affecting him at all, and he clearly wasn't learning his lesson.
He should go vegan.
Vegan for 30 days. Call back. I contacted the family and let them know what was going on, and they agreed to meet up for dinner. And again, I gave my son a chance to apologize. He got extremely upset / angry, maybe both, and said that nobody even liked the F slur.
I read ahead and I was very shocked.
Yeah, I saw that. Hey, no spoilers.
That's awful. That's
so
awful.
bad.
God.
Man, I'm loving this kid less and less.
No,
every day.
I don't love him either.
Every sentence. Of course, I apologized and the family left. I can't believe he said that.
Wait, they were there?
He said it in front of the kid.
Oh my God.
So
that's
sad.
awful.
I know. My son and I got into a very big argument when they left, where he said he wasn't sorry and again that nobody likes this kid. I told him that I don't like him very much either right now. He got quiet, apologized, and went to his room.
Oh, so she didn't even say that she didn't love him. She just didn't like him?
Yeah.
Oh, well.
I don't like this kid either.
I don't like him either.
Wow. I've now been told that he's apologized to the student he was bullying and his grounding has been lifted. He's still hiding in his room and we very rarely speak. My ex-husband says I shouldn't have told him I don't like him, that there's no excuse. And of course, that behavior is the reason we're not together because I can't help but be a miserable a-hole.
Unbelievable. Sounds like misogyny and homophobia.
Yeah, I wonder where he's learning this. Probably not from the mom.
Yeah, if they're split up, then it's probably from the dad. He probably sucks.
I understand it may not have been the nicest thing to hear, but he was not listening to a word I was saying and being a downright bully.
Yeah.
Am I the a-hole? And there is an update. But first, I want to hear from you, Sophia. What do you think? I want to tippy tap on those keyboards. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. But what do you think, Sophia? Is OP the a-hole?
I don't think so. Because, okay, in the beginning, she says I didn't love him.
Yeah.
But then during the actual story, she says, I just said I didn't like him. And I feel like
Which
at
is
that
different.
moment,
It feels
that's
different.
completely different.
Yeah, because like love is like this, like it feels like this forever feeling.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, like there's
like
times
you.
where my sister's being super annoying. I'm like, I don't like what you're doing right now.
I'm never annoying.
Sophia's never
I'm a delight.
Dude, when we were growing up, Sophia would like hurt herself and trip and she would say, Sam! And then my mom would go over and be like, Sam, what were you doing? And I would get in trouble. And this was constant. So, Sophia, I did not like that. And I did not like you in that moment. But I love you.
But I always loved you.
Yeah, I actually don't think she's being an a-hole.
No, I don't think so.
The ex is being the a-hole.
Yeah,
of anything.
I think there's something up with him. And I think he is teaching his son bad.
I agree. But
Yeah.
there is an update, so let's get into it. A lot has happened since I made my post, so I figured I'd just pop in to let people know how it unfolded. I've had a little chit chat with my son to get to the bottom of his behavior, and turns out he'd asked his victim on a date and was turned down.
No, that's so sad. Aw.
Instead of acting like a normal human being, he decided to be spiteful and start bullying the boy. He's still making up for it, and we've had a talk about consent and the fact that nobody is obligated to date him. He knows I understand he was hurt, but he should have spoken to me. After all, it's what I'm here for. My ex is also openly homophobic. We freaking called it. Boom. And he no longer wants to visit him on weekends. So hopefully his father will no longer make such a great impression. I also want to thank everyone for their kind words to this mama who thought she'd handled a tough situation very, very poorly. I appreciate all the kindness.
Yeah, that's a tough situation.
Tough situation.
Yeah.
I feel like we call it. I mean, like usually when kids like, you know, pick up bad behavior, it's often from a parent.
Yeah.
Not always, but often. And so I think we called it where it's like, okay, the dad is homophobic for sure.
Yeah. And I think, there's some of that like fear of not wanting to be like outed and stuff. Yeah.
But what would you do in this situation? Like, how would you deal with a kid who is initially saying like the F slur?
Yeah.
When you don't know the background.
Yeah.
And then now that this came out, or now that he came out, like, how would you handle it? How would you make sure that he knows that he's safe? And also, you know, I think she handled it pretty well, but I'm wondering if any parents have had their son or daughter come out and how they've dealt with it and felt about it. Because, you know, it's a really hard moment sometimes for the kid, and also can be a really great moment for the parent to show, like, whatever situation, we know you're loved. So love to hear your stories. Put them in the comments below.
My girlfriend assaulted me. Now she wants a restraining order. Should I stay with her? Am I the a-hole? My ex-girlfriend named Karen, of course, who is a black belt in karate.
Oh my God, no wonder she's beating his ass.
Got wasted with her two friends last Saturday night. She hit me in the head with a frying pan, and the three of them assaulted me. What?
So they all jumped him?
She was arrested and given a felony. Now she's on social media playing the victim. Of course she is. She probably released one of those apology videos. She's
I'm
like,
sorry for
"I'm
being so good at
sorry."
karate.
Yeah. Never had a significant other beat me up before. Never actually even been beat up that bad before. I didn't fight back because I didn't want to hit her. First, OP would like to state that they are an African-American male and they were raised by their single mother who, after years of abuse, finally decided to leave their piece of father. I know that female to male domestic violence is a much less serious issue in our country than male to female. It does, however, happen. This is my story of using my mother's strength to stand my ground and overcome many things stacked against me in this category of court and community. That's so nice.
Yeah. So it seems like
Strong
OP
mother.
like has been through this kind of stuff before,
Yeah.
at least with his mother.
After the incident, I made that last Reddit post, which hit the front of r/all before several people suggested deleting it due to legal ramification. I was visited by a local sheriff serving me a domestic violence restraining order from her.
But he's the one that got beat with a frying pan.
Yeah, absolutely. This is outrageous. I was very confused, seeing as how she was the one arrested for felony assault. I called the district attorney in the county the incident took place, and they informed me that they decided not to file charges against her despite the clear witness testimony from her own best friend of 10 plus years.
Was it the old best friend that was wailing on him too?
The same best friend.
Yeah, I really whipped his ass.
And I feel bad about it now.
I feel a little bit guilty about just how bad we creamed him.
As well as the testimony from the neighbor across the street who also witnessed the assault. She then filed the restraining order against me for the domestic violence incident, of which she was arrested under the pretense of online harassment.
Bro, man's just telling his story.
Yeah, wow.
Of being assaulted.
It's not libel. Again, you guys were right. I had to miss work 3 separate times to travel 3 hours to a different county to fight her restraining order against me.
Man's losing time.
He's losing money. Finally, in the hearing, the judge determined that she was in fact the aggressor and denied her restraining order against me, as a few social media posts is not cause enough to file a permanent restraining order against the victim of the assault. Go figure.
Truth.
Now it was my turn to file the actual restraining order that should have been filed in the first place. She'll never be allowed in the dojo again. We finished court yesterday morning with the judge also stating that he believed her to be the aggressor and granted the permanent restraining order against her.
Thank God the judge be judging something correctly.
Yeah, I have no restrictions and am now allowed to say whatever I want about the incident. What blew my mind through all of this was her absolute confidence at every step, that every court, judge, cop, friend, etc. would just automatically believe her and condemn me. She showed up to each hearing, walking into the waiting room, laughing and joking with whatever friend she decided to show up with. I showed up in a suit and tie out of respect for the court, and she literally showed up with a cut-off plaid shirt and capri jeans with Converse.
And she looked cute as and then was flirting with the judge the whole time.
She was wearing short skirts and I was wearing t-shirts and she wore a black belt. At the hearing for her restraining order against me, the judge kicked her friend out of the courtroom for misconduct because he started getting belligerent when the judge denied her restraining order. My lawyer will also be pursuing the district attorney in the original county to relook at the case and reconsider pressing felony charges. She lied on the stand today, claiming under oath that she had no prior history of domestic violence. Then my lawyer pulled up a domestic violence charge that she said she forgot about. I was able to defeat my abuser today. Maybe
in the
not
dojo.
In the dojo, but on the court. And I just wanted to share to give hope to others dealing with people who see themselves as nothing but victims when they are in fact the bullies. I hope that all victims of domestic violence will one day be able to experience this feeling of victory and liberation. It's really nice.
Well, at least it ended kind of okay.
It ended okay.
But damn.
But wow.
This girl is a black belt
awful.
in lying and karate.
Yeah.
But also, what black belt are you? Do we have any?
What belt are you?
What
are
belt
you brown?
are you?
Black?
Put your belts in the comments below. We want to hear it. And like, also, do you have any of like, these kinds of stories? We'd love to hear it, especially from the fellows, because I feel like, I mean, from everyone, but I think this is about like, a dude experiencing domestic abuse. Mm-hmm. And I think often I made jokes about it, but like it is serious. Like this does happen, and it should be treated seriously. So I would love to hear what like the fellas who experience this would have to say, or the ladies who have heard of a fella experiencing this. So tippy tap in the comments right below. Well, yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing your stories. We want to hear them all. So if you have a story about anything, put it in the comments below, and we'll see you soon. My sister is stealing my baby, took $10,000 and is demanding more. Should I send it? My 34 female wife, 36 female, and I have been together for over 7 years and have been trying to conceive via IVF and sperm banks for the last 3 years. My wife originally wanted to be the one to carry our child, but after 2 failed IVF attempts, I tried the treatment. Got no luck, and both had to suffer the consequences of miscarriages. This was a traumatic time for us, and we finally decided to adopt last year. Unfortunately, there is a bias against same-sex couples from adopting and fostering, so we always had a hard time talking to the agency. We were open to fostering and were going to give it a try. During this time, my sister-in-law fell pregnant with a one-night stand, and when we were talking about adoption and fostering parenting, she approached us and told us she wanted to give birth because of religious reasons, but had no desire to be a single parent. She asked whether we would consider adopting her child.
Okay, so this might be like, Right place, right time type
one
situation.
lady's trash is a couple of ladies' treasure. My wife was ecstatic, and so was I. I brought up the possibility of a written contract, but my wife told me she trusted her sister. We paid for every pregnancy-related expense my sister-in-law had, the doctor's appointments, genetic tests she requested, lab works, ultrasounds, her random cravings at 3 a.m. We even paid her rent for the 3rd trimester. She decided on C-section because she was scared, so we paid for delivery and hospital stay. Just after she gave birth, we came to visit her to talk about rights transferring to us. She told us she was keeping the baby and wasn't giving it to us because she didn't believe we were ready for a baby yet.
Weren't you the one that wasn't ready for the baby?
My wife was devastated. She cried herself to sleep for several days because we put the adoption on hold and had everything ready for the baby to come. Her nursery was ready, and my wife painted the walls herself. We understood that the sister-in-law probably felt the maternal instincts kick in and decided to give everything we purchased for the baby to her because she was a single mom with no ready needs. It seems like someone's unprepared.
A lot.
We also decided to pay the remainder of the birth expenses as a gift to her. My wife insisted that she needed all the help she could for the new baby. A few days after the incident, I went to my mother-in-law's house, and this is where my sister-in-law currently lives. She was on the phone, probably talking to a friend of mine, when I heard the baby mentioned, and I eavesdropped. I shouldn't have done it, but I just couldn't help myself. She was talking to her friend about how she knew from the beginning that she wasn't going to give the baby to us sisters, and that her sister was an idiot to think that she would allow her baby to be brainwashed by us.
Oh God, is this going where I think it's going?
I was honestly shocked. My sister-in-law was never really close to me personally, but my wife always thought she was her best friend. I never knew that she was against our marriage because she never voiced her opinion about it. Here's where I may have been the asshole. I left my mother-in-law's house and got home, got everything I could fit inside our SUV and donated it to a homeless shelter. I made 3 trips in total to give everything away. I was honestly so mad. My wife came home to an empty room and asked me what was going on. I told her the whole story. While she was shocked at her sister's reactions, she told me I had no right to give away the baby stuff and her sister really needed it. I couldn't understand after what she said about her, my wife could still protect her, which I guess it's like, it's your sister, even if she's a massive dick.
Yeah, that's a rock and a hard place type situation right there.
When my sister-in-law found out, all hell broke loose. She berated me on how she was a single mom to a baby now, how she needed these things, how she didn't prepare for the baby's arrival because she depended on us. I told her to kick rocks.
Yeah.
After spending over $10,000 on her expenses, I was beyond frustrated to allow her to continue. She told me that these things were meant for this baby and I was wrong for giving her things away. My mother-in-law has called my wife to tell her how selfish I was being for my actions and that we should at least help sister-in-law with the upcoming expenses because my mother-in-law is on a fixed income, unable to help, and sister-in-law wants to focus on raising the baby rather than working. From my understanding, we owe her nothing, and we have already helped her tremendously, but my wife feels incredibly guilty and wants me to help a new mom. I understand that she is in a bad place, but how she acted is way beyond what I'm comfortable with dealing. Although I also feel incredibly bad because I may have put the baby in a bad situation, I am starting to think maybe I was the asshole to donate the stuff meant for the baby. So Reddit, am I the asshole for not wanting to help my sister-in-law with her baby expenses and for donating the stuff meant for her baby? There is an edit, but I want to hear what you think, John. Is OP the asshole?
Maybe they're both the asshole. Maybe OP's asshole a little bit for returning the stuff, and definitely the sister-in-law.
But who is she the asshole to?
To the baby.
To the baby.
I would say the OP
and I
is.
think maybe her wife, because it's like that stuff is probably hers too. Like, I mean, they're sharing it. So edit. Thank you for your kind responses. Some of your answers really made me think about how I should approach the topic. I will apologize to my wife because I didn't have her approval getting rid of the things that were also hers. I didn't consider her feelings. I will also discuss the option of therapy with her. This all feels surreal and I will be taking time to digest some of the responses and think on everything. Also, huge thanks to some of you guys suggesting to look for LGBT friendly adoption centers. I can't believe I didn't think of that. The adoption topic will be put on hold while we process all of these events. months. I will probably post an update after things have settled. And a small clarification, apparently my sister-in-law became a born-again Christian when she moved to my mother-in-law's house. An acquaintance told us that she basically believed this baby was a sign from God to change her ways, warn everyone against sin and becoming sinners. All the power to her for her beliefs. I didn't expect her to deem us sinners. I'm not giving her power to her beliefs if that's how she treats people based on her religious beliefs.
You know, it's kind of funny when it's like, hey, everyone don't sin. I'm going to go have this one night stand over here.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like, not that I think that's even a sin, but come on now. Like,
double standard.
Come on.
Double standard. But let us know what you guys think. What would you do if someone basically stole the baby that you paid for? Which is a dumbed down
when you
version
say
of
it
it.
like that, it hits different. I just drove through a drag race and decided to crash their party. I called the police to shut them down. Am I the a-hole?
I always mix up drag races and drag shows.
You know, I had the exact same thing. When I
Yeah.
was reading this title initially, I was like, oh, drag race. The Vroom, vroom. I am a pizza delivery driver. I was on my way home an hour and a half later than usual after an extremely busy night where I didn't get back from my last delivery until 45 minutes after closing time. About halfway home, I get to an intersection that is unavoidable for me that has been taken over by a large crowd of teenagers with cars all decked out for street racing, holding some kind of drifting competition or exhibition.
Teenagers.
Nobody in the crowd looked to be over 20 years old, but there was at least 100 to 150 people there.
150 people? That's a big event.
I felt like I was in a Fast and Furious movie and I was with Dom's whole crew, but I wasn't part of the family.
Aww.
Big sad. In my defense, I did call the cops first and was informed they had already been called and were about 45 minutes out. After this disheartening news, I saw that I had room to weave through the cars parked at the intersection and get right up to the front of it since the car that had been there had taken its turn drifting, more like doing regular donuts. I guarantee not a single one of these cars had better than a stock 4 banger. I guess
Stock
OP.
for a banger.
Wow.
Wow. Nice.
So I moved up, started short, rapid honks, and drove slowly into the crowd. They mostly parted in front of me. Some tough guy types tried to intimidate me by standing there like they wouldn't move 10 feet in front of me, but they all got out of the way by the time I was within 5 feet. Kids, I'm in my mid-30s, anything under 20 is a kid to me at this point, were banging on my car, but I kept going.
Oh,
Oh, wait
yikes.
a second. I had a pizza to deliver. Dude.
Oh,
He's delivering a
shit.
freaking pizza. I had to stop to let someone who was waiting for his turn to drift facing the wrong way down the street to get out of my way, and they kept banging on my car. Thought they were going to break a window or one of my mirrors, but when I finally got home and checked, there was no damage.
Nice.
So, am I the a-hole for not just waiting for the cops to break everything up? And if so, by how much? So, I think we have a little bit of a 2-layer am I the a-hole here. There's calling the cops in the first place, and then ultimately like driving through the crowd.
I mean, they're doing something illegal. I don't think he's the a-hole for moving through an illegal thing to do a non-illegal activity.
And to me, it's also like, because some things are illegal, but kind of fun and cool
Yeah.
or whatever, which this kind of is, but it's like in his way.
Yeah, this sounds exactly in OP's way. So I don't think OP is the a-hole at all. And I don't think he's the a-hole for calling the cops either.
My man is dedicated to his pizza delivery.
Yeah, man is going to deliver in 30 minutes or less. I purposely told my parents the wrong time for my wedding, and they are furious. But I'd do it again. Am I the a-hole?
It's not actually a smart move, but it is such a hilarious way of making sure your parents aren't at your wedding.
Oh, sorry. I mean, like, I must have gotten the dates mixed up.
Yeah.
So my male 33 parents are late for everything, like everything. Both of my sisters and myself have been disappointed so many times. Graduation ceremonies, birthday parties, even my father's retirement dinner. It is completely my mother's fault. She's a wonderful woman and I love her dearly, but she does not understand the concept of punctuality.
That's tough.
Yeah. I feel like you just need to get a shock collar for your mom then. Every time she's late, start zapping her until she gets there.
That is one way to do it, Sam. You're so kind to your mother. It really inspires me, man.
Thanks, Mom. I have seen her talking to her sister on the phone and reminded her she needed to be at my baby sister's dance recital. She waved me off and arrived after my sister had danced. That's so bad. That's just inconsiderate.
Yeah, I think so.
We are all used to it. My dad is just done trying to get her to be on time for anything. My now wife, female 28, told me in no uncertain terms that if my mother was late for our wedding, she would do terrible, terrible things to me. She was only half joking, but she was a witness to my mom and dad driving halfway through my cousin's quinceanera. Halfway through.
Dude, like, especially a wedding, like, I can get even being late to like a quinceanera or something, but which is already bad. But a wedding?
So OP has a plan.
Okay.
Here is what I did. It is completely on me. My wife is not involved. If there's a dick move, it was completely mine. When we were getting samples for the wedding, I talked to the printer and had one special invitation printed with the time on it, stating it was 1 hour earlier than the actual start time of the ceremony. Pretty smart.
Not bad at all.
Also selling it all the way with an actual invitation with the time. Pretty smart.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be like 5 hours to 3 hours in advance.
Yeah, honestly, with how late these parents, I would have done 3 hours.
Yeah.
You never know. My mother was beside herself, apparently, when they left the house and thought they were going to miss the wedding she was part of with her and my mother-in-law lighting the candles we would use to light the unity candle and stuff. When she arrived and noticed other people were also just arriving and parking, she was so relieved that we were starting late that she just went with it. So she was invited early to the wedding, was like late, was worried that, oh my God, I'm going to miss the whole ceremony, and then realized that it was starting late.
I mean, it sounds like it might just be the perfect crime so far.
So just, I guess, make sure no one finds out.
That's it.
The ceremony went off beautifully, and so did the wedding pictures and the reception. But the problem came last Sunday. My parents came over for a big family dinner, and we didn't bother starting the grill until they showed up, which was much later. She asked why everyone wasn't eating, and we just said we knew we would be waiting for them since they are always late.
Just the facts.
She said that she wasn't always late and had been on time for my wedding, which also, how are you not like self-aware of your lateness?
Yeah. At that point, when you're that bad.
That late. And also, like, even if like saying you were on time for a wedding that even if you believed it started late, like, then you're not on time. The wedding just started late.
Yeah.
She hadn't been. They arrived 45 minutes after the time on their invitation. And then my idiot cousin John, real name because it's common and he deserves people to know he is adult, snorted at her statement. A few other people giggled, smiled at this, and she picked up and asked what was so funny. I came clean and told her about the special invitation. She is pissed at me for not trusting her and making her look foolish in front of everyone. If my cousin had just controlled himself, she never would have known. So am I the a-hole for making this special wedding invitation?
Wow, man.
And there's a little update, but I would love to hear. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely not. I think that was like a great plan. And like also like me, I've recently come to the thing of like, oh, when I'm like organizing things, I should have an hour buffer. This is like commonplace to people who like organize events for friends, but I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense. So it's actually not even out of the ordinary, I would say, in some ways.
Agreed. Edit. So part of the reason she is mad is because she had her invitation framed. I guess she was just so proud of being on time for one thing.
Yeah.
Finally. To be honest, I was already planning a heist with my sisters to replace it with the real one in case she ever noticed the discrepancy between hers and the one we have framed in our home. And number two, yes, we are Latinos. And no, I do not in any way consider it racist how many of you guessed that. I have been to Spain and it's been an issue there too. And the Philippines. Basically anywhere those guys were in charge. And three, stop defending John. He and I have spent 30 years messing with each other. I have an Am I the Asshole story that ends with me getting an offensive tattoo, $5,000 for the removals, and him getting a body cavity search at the Mexican border. I would post it, but it happened like 10 years ago. Wow. That's a prank war.
Still post it, buddy.
Yeah, I would still post it, OP.
Yeah, we might just read it.
But yeah, I don't think OP is the a-hole for what they did.
Not at all. It's like at that point, and it's just so bad on the mom. Like, be on time for you. Be like, I'm going to be there.
At least for the wedding.
Be like, I'm going to be there like 2.5 hours early. Cause it's like, would you rather be like super early, maybe?
Or miss your daughter's wedding or your son's wedding?
Come on.
Yeah, so bad. But let me ask you, who messed up most in your life by being late to something? Or what was a time that you were late to something and messed up yourself? I was not late to something, but when I was leaving visiting San Jose del Cabo. I was like living there for a month, and this was during COVID, and I was leaving, and I got like 3 hours early to the airport. And then when I was getting my COVID test at the airport, which you can do, there was a guy there, and he was like, hey, like, you want this, to go a little faster? And I'm like, oh, what do you mean? He's like, hey, if you give me like $20, I could go like, you can get your results faster. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm okay. I'm like 3 hours early.
I'm a man of principle.
I don't need to bribe this dude. And then I wait 1 hour, no results. 2 hours, no results. 2 hours and 45 minutes, no results. The plane is boarding. And I'm like frantically like calling the thing, like, where's my test result? 3 hours. They would not let me on. I missed my flight and I had to go get another COVID test. And so I learned my lesson, always bribe the guy.
That is the moral of the story, ladies and gentlemen.
Moral of the story, bribe people.
That's right.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Love you. My husband thinks I cheated and he's not the father of our baby. Now he's demanding a paternity test and might destroy our marriage. Am I the a-hole?
Again, something John and I have said over and over, paternity test at birth.
I, 28 female, and my husband, 32 male, have a 3-year-old son together. There has never been any doubt that my husband is the father. I've never given him any cause for concern that I cheated on him, and he acknowledges all of this. Last week, he came to me and said that for the last few months, he has been plagued, his word, with this anxiety that our son is not his. They don't look identical, granted, but they definitely share similar features, and I see my husband whenever I look at my son.
Why all of a sudden?
Cheating?
Cheating?
I was obviously blindsided by this. I had no idea he was having these thoughts. I asked him to explain why he thought that our son wasn't his, and he couldn't really provide any answer other than a gut feeling.
A gut feeling just doesn't appear out of nowhere. There's something fishy in here.
He asked me if I would be okay if he got a paternity test done so it could ease his mind. I initially said, absolutely not. No way in hell. I was very, very offended. He told me that he could just do it without my permission, and I said that if he did that, I would never forgive him for it. My husband does not have a history of anxiety, but he did lose his job at the start of the pandemic, so he's been with our son most of the time while I work full-time from home.
He's like, damn, I've been spending all this time with my son, and he just sucks, so he can't be my kid.
Now, I know this hasn't been easy on him. I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but maybe he is starting to resent our son or something from just having to be around him constantly. After our first heated conversation, I spoke with some friends about it, and they said that he was probably having some psychiatric problems due to the stress of not having a job. I came back to my husband and said that if he went to therapy and maybe started taking some anti-anxiety meds, that I would consider getting the test. He was very upset at this and said that once he got back the results of the test, he wouldn't be anxious anymore, and that I wasn't being fair by making him go through this whole rigmarole, again, his word.
I feel the one who is being rigged and rolled is OP.
She's being very rolled and very rigged. And just to get his peace of mind, which again was a phrase he used a lot during this. He again threatened to just get the test without my permission, and I said that would effectively end our relationship. I think there's something more serious going on here. I thought that my solution here is as fair as I'm willing to be. My friends are divided. Some think that I should just take the test, and others are saying he's being insane, and that if I cave to this, there's going to be something else. I need a more neutral perspective here. Am I the a-hole? And there's edits and updates, honestly, quite a bit of juicy meaty details. But as of right now, I want to know, what are you all thinking? Is OP being the a-hole here? Is the husband being the a-hole here?
I think the husband's being the a-hole here.
Yeah.
OP was like, even gave a consolation. It's like, hey, just like go to some therapy, talk about it, and then I will get the paternity test.
Update. The bottom line is we are heading towards divorce.
Oh no.
I took some of the commenters' advice to go to couples therapy, which we did that same week as my first post. I had to push him a bit to get him to agree to the therapy, but I told him it was either this or I was never going to give in to the test. The first Zoom session was a little awkward since neither of us had done therapy before. After listening to both of us, she basically said that she thought that we should do the test to see if it eases his anxiety, and that if it doesn't, which at the time was my concern, that we could go from there. So my husband was thrilled and I agreed, but I wanted to be on Zoom with the therapist when we received the results so we could talk it out with her, which he was fine with. She actually agreed to do the test.
Wow. Okay.
We did the test and we did our Zoom session when our results were in. And big surprise, the paternity test says he's 99% likely to be the father, aka he's the dad. He didn't appear relieved or happy or anything of what I expected. Maybe this was unfair, but I did expect him to cry and maybe apologize to me for his lack of trust. This wasn't just my imagination though, because the therapist asked him in our first session how he would feel if the test came back saying that he was the father. And he said that he would feel relieved, but he was angry.
What? I think he's cheating.
More suspicion.
I think he's cheating. I think he's looking for an excuse to break up.
He kept saying that it was over and that he didn't want to talk about it. He kept repeating, it's done, over and over when the therapist would try to ask a question about how he was feeling, and he was obviously not listening when I tried to talk about my feelings. And I told him I wanted to talk about it. He yelled at me, which he never does. What else is there to effing talk about? I was mortified that he was talking to me this way in front of a therapist, which also, bro, that is going to earn you very negative points like with the therapist.
Because everyone knows therapy is a scoreboard between the first couple and the second couple. All right,
ding, ding,
negative
ding, ding.
2 points for husband.
And the therapist said that we should schedule a new session once he had time to process. After the session, he wouldn't look at me or speak to me. That he was so upset that he was our wonderful son's father made me absolutely lose my mind. We screamed at each other and it ended with me saying that I can't do this anymore.
Wow.
He's at his brother's apartment now, finally away from our son, which is obviously what he wanted all along. And my mom is now staying at my place to help me out around the house. I texted him this weekend asking if he wanted to do another therapy session, and he asked if I really thought that that would help, and I had to admit that I didn't think it would help.
What happened? I don't understand what happened.
The speed at which this whole thing happened just a month ago, I would have said I was in a happy marriage, is still completely shocking to me, but I don't see us recovering from this. This felt cathartic to type out though, so thanks, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very curious on everyone's thoughts in the comments, and maybe, I don't know, you've seen like a similar situation or something like that. My guess too, if it isn't cheating, is maybe being with the son so much, he was just like, I do not want to be a father. I want to get out of this completely.
Yeah, if he's not cheating, it's probably he just wasn't ready for fatherhood, which sucks. Like, it's like, Daddy, Mommy, why did you go through divorce? It was your fault, son.
I kind of hate you. So there you go. He's majorly that, especially because we have no idea what's actually going on.
Yeah, but regardless of what's going on, he's the asshole.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, I can't see a way out of him being an asshole.
No, there is no way, no path.
My high school bully wants a job. Not a chance. I'm going to get my revenge. So am I the a-hole?
I mean, Sam, the question is, if someone applied to OKOP, like
one of my middle school bullies?
The Salad Boy inventor applied to be our top editor.
No way.
Deny.
Instantly. My female 35 high school tormentor, male 35, is one of the applicants to a job in the company I work for. The position he is seeking is below me, which means he is going to be in direct contact with me many hours a day. I will add that I am not the one doing the hiring, but as I am the one who knows the nature of our job best, my input has a very significant impact, and my recommendation is usually the one that ends up happening. So Opie got all the power.
Yeah.
Out of all the applicants, he is by far the most merited and suitable for the job. My problem is that this man has made my adolescence very hard to the point that I literally had physical pain every morning before going to school. I wanted to quit many times, but that was not an option to my parents, who threatened to kick me out if I didn't graduate.
Dang. Poor OP, man.
This bully sounds awful, but maybe he's changed,
Or not.
I think it would just make it hard for OP to do their job.
That's what I'm saying, is I think that because of that makes them not the most qualified person.
I love my job now and know I'm strong, and he probably wouldn't be able to bully me anymore. So that's not what I'm worried about. I just can't have a reminder of my darkest time of my life working with me every day. I've contemplated finding another job, but we live in a middle-sized city and my options to find an equivalent position is minimal, and with an at least 30% decrease in wage if I'm not willing to locate to another city/country.
My God.
I mean, OP, I feel like that you could just come clean maybe about it.
Yeah, and say I think this person could make like a terrible work environment, especially for me.
Exactly. Say, hey, this would be a terrible work environment. This person was like abusive to me.
Yeah.
The job he's seeking is probably once in a lifetime for anyone who gets it. Pays great and has a lot of opportunities to make a career and climb higher. After 2 interviews with each applicant, they have chosen 5 candidates, and it's now my recommendation that comes into play. I will sit in a 3rd interview with each of the 5 beside management and HR. This part scares me. Hope he's going to be in the room with the bully face to face. Yeah.
Wow.
I have 2 other applicants that would do the job perfectly, so it won't affect our work at all. He is just more merited. To rephrase, Moss from IT crowd, I am in an ethical pickle. What can I do? And there is an update, a juicy update. But John, what do you think?
Again, I think like he should come forward to the team and be like, look, this person absolutely tortured me.
Yeah, I think it would just become pretty clean. Just be honest about it. Yeah. So on to the update. I will try to answer every chat request individually, but I wanted to answer questions I got most here. 1, the bullying was bad. It was both verbal and physical. I was the punching bag for a good part of 3 years. I had to cut my hair very short to avoid being pulled around by it. The last year was the worst because he could grope and touch me to see why I wasn't developing like the rest of the girls our age. I was very skinny growing up. That's really, really bad. That's just assault.
Awful. Yes.
2, many asked how I could live with myself knowing that I'm not being impartial and not putting what's best for the company first. Who are these fucking capitalist Redditors that are being like, why aren't you putting random capitalist company in front of your own needs?
What? It's Bob from accounting being like, wow, you should really consider the company's priorities.
As I said, I do feel guilty because he was the best for the job. And with COVID, it's harder for people to find work, etc. I feel very guilty indeed, but it was either living with the guilt or the memories, and I chose the guilt. 3, I don't know if he recognized me. I sat on the 2nd interview via Zoom, and it didn't seem that he knew me. So after I wrote here, I decided to confront my demons and sit the 3rd interview to get a better idea of what he's become. He either didn't remember me at all or just played it cool. He was very pleasant and charming, but I don't know if I was making things up in my mind or not when it was my turn to ask questions, but his whole demeanor and the way he looked at me was different. If that's just my imagination or not, I didn't care. I thought I had to tell HR about my past, not the details, but that we have history, keeping it professional. But before I knew it, I was bawling my eyes out in her office and I told her everything. She told me not to worry and to go home. Later, I got an email that they're going with the next on the list. So all this drama was for nothing. I made a big deal out of it in my head, but according to HR, the manager didn't even want the details. It was enough that I didn't like him. I've started therapy again. This experience made me realize that I'm far from being 100% recovered and still need to work on myself. Thank you everyone for listening.
Poor OP. Again, like he's not the best for the job because of everything that we talked about. Like it was definitely the best move to come clean, be honest, and pick someone who'll probably do a great job.
And also, like when you work in a company and with a team, it's not about the best individual for the job. It's about the best team member.
Absolutely.
And those could be 2 different things.
Yes.
Like you could have someone with a higher pedigree that's maybe more proficient, but if they can't work well with the other people in the company, then they're not going to be a good fit.
Exactly.
And so I think that's the case here. But I would love to know your work stories. Have you ever worked with a high school bully or a middle school bully or any kind of bully?
Or work bully.
Yeah. Tell us your work bully stories. And let's get into this next one.
My ex-wife was sleeping with our divorce lawyer before the divorce. I am beyond furious. Am I the a-hole?
The lawyer's really making it final.
We really need a way to drum up business. I got a few ideas, guys.
Just divorce lawyers sleeping with all of your wives.
Now that's what I call finding leads. So I'm going to try to make this as short as possible. I was in a town with my kids and needed to get my son's stuffed bunny from his dad's. So I called him several times.
You know who else's bunny was stuffed? His honey bunny.
Oh God. I called him several times. Didn't answer. I figured I was right there. I would see if he was home. His car was there. I went up to the door, rang the bell, called again, but no answer. But then the door was open. So we walked up to his apartment. I knock and a female answers the door, but not just any female. A female I immediately notice as being the paralegal who handled our recently mediated divorce.
The wife just went up to the husband's place.
Yes.
And then it's the paralegal who handled the divorce that is
Opening the door. And it's like, what you doing here?
oh, just going over some finalizations from the divorce proceedings.
Just going through the paperwork, if you know what I mean. She confirmed that that's who she is, and I calmly excused myself. Come to find out that they had been seeing each other and sleeping together prior to the divorce process, and that was why he insisted we use a law firm that we did.
It sounds like the husband was just trying to get the best deal possible. Little did he know he would get a little paralegal thrown in there
Oh, goodness gracious.
for free.
Yeah, we can't do any discounts, but there is something else we could do for you, Bob. You got the deal. She was the one who wrote up our paperwork and that I had confided in her things about my ex, all while she was sleeping with him. To say I feel violated is an understatement. I feel like there was coercion on their part in order to manipulate me into not pursuing certain things, and that it was just morally and ethically wrong that she handled any part of our divorce. I mean, that is conflict of interest
To the max.
Oh my God. She had every incentive to push us through the divorce for her own romantic gain. She called me crying and says that she feels bad and then she's never going to talk to him again and blah, 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 but maintains that she was a professional and they had never been in a relationship. It's semantics. When you're porking your client.
Yeah, and they started before the divorce was finalized. That means she was working on your case and boning your man.
And cheating with a married man. You were sleeping with my husband, and oh, they are still friends because he's seen her every day since this has happened. My God. Which makes sense. Which makes me believe that this was more of a manipulation. There is nothing professional about what happened. I don't know what to do. My friend and attorney said to file an ethics complaint, which I've already written up and sent to him for review. My ex, who used to abuse me, has been threatening that if I do any harm to her, there will be repercussions. Oh my God. He doesn't scare me, but we do have children together and I don't know what he's capable of. Plus, he's refusing to pay child support and said that he will not pay if I pursue anything against her. I'm a single mom of 2 small children and money is an issue. I have not had a single romantic feeling for that man, but I do not feel that I received fair representation based on these morally and ethically dishonest practices. Legally, what can I do? How can I protect myself? This guy is a monster.
But like, what if it's like really bad? Let's say, like, what if it's a billionaire and someone they're married to, the billionaire controls all the assets, the other person in the relationship has nothing? I imagine a law firm will be like, hey, we'll represent you. And we get like half the winnings if we win anything.
Oh, you're saying like there could be bad incentives because they're just like, hey, we'll just represent you. It sounds like this scenario, like a couple and try and get some of the whole thing.
It doesn't seem like in this specific scenario, because the law firm's representing them both, it doesn't seem like necessarily be fair to the wife.
Yeah, exactly. And he was the one that chose it.
Yeah, if he chose it and he was like manipulating, the situation by boning the paralegal, I don't know.
Or the paralegal was manipulating him.
I don't know. It's crazy.
But yeah, this is absolutely beyond insane. Like, yeah.
How do divorce proceedings usually go?
How do they work?
Do lawyers take from like off the back? Do you have to pay up front? Anyone who's been divorced, give us your divorce proceedings stories.
I imagine there's kind of like ambulance chaser lawyer vibes where it's like, hey, we'll represent you and then just try to siphon as much money to get a fee percentage off of that and maybe a fat one.
Yeah, but let us know. That's a doozy of a story. That sucks. Sorry, OP.
Yeah, very sorry. But we love you guys.
We love you.
And we will see you.
See you soon.
I'm calling the police on my sister. She wrecked my car and refuses to pay, so I'm gonna destroy her life. Am I the a-hole?
Lock her up.
So I, female 17, live with my parents. I have an older sister, 29 female, that they had when they were super young. I think my mom was 19 and my dad was 18.
Damn. That's young.
They did not do a great job with raising my sister, and she has a lot of problems. She is chronically unemployed and a thief. She has 2 kids that are okay.
Just okay.
Not great.
Yeah.
Not the worst, but okay.
OP.
They live with us as well because her boyfriend didn't want them around. I like the kids, but they are spoiled little brats, and my parents dote on them, shower them with love and gifts to make up for being crappy parents to their mom.
Nice.
My parents won't let me put a lock on my door because it's their house and they don't want that. All right. But no problem. I talked to the kids and explained about what would happen if they came into my room without my permission. You will die. My sister broke up with her boyfriend and she needed a place to stay. I begged my parents not not to let her stay with us. They declined. So I begged again for a lock on my door, but no dice. I have to go to school, so I can't guard my stuff at all times. When I came home on Friday, I found my car absolutely trashed and a whole side of the car destroyed.
Wait, why?
So my sister had gone into my room, found my spare key, and stolen my car. Then lost control on the dice after a day of eating crap and tossing fast food wrappers everywhere.
That does not make sense to me. My car is so clean.
The maid will clean this up.
Eat this trash. You love trash,
Yeah.
don't you, sister? I love trash. Yum, yum, yum.
When I saw my car, I was livid. I told my parents that I expected her to pay to fix it. Reasonable.
No, totally unreasonable.
Oh, yeah, you're right. What was I thinking? They said, but she doesn't have any money. Oh, God.
Work the street corner.
So I said that I would call my grandparents because my grandparents had helped me get the car and the insurance. After talking with my grandfather, I came back to my parents. I said that the insurance would cover fixing or replacing my car depending on the damage, but that I would have to file a police report against my sister.
I imagine so.
And that my sister would probably be charged for stealing my car. They begged me to tell the insurance that she had permission to drive the car, but I said, nope, sorry. So rather than go through insurance, they are now replacing my car. Wow.
With a Ferrari.
I mean, it better be. But they are using the money that they had set aside to take me and my nieces to Orlando next summer for my graduation. It's fine. I can do without seeing Disney World again. But my parents, sister, and nieces are upset with me and saying that I am an asshole for denying my nieces the opportunity to go on the vacation that they've never had. I just asked if a lock for my door would have been cheaper.
Wow, this
Zinger.
all started from a door lock.
So, am I the a-hole? There's a quick edit. I just got home from my school. There is now a deadbolt on my bedroom door, and my mom gave me a key. She says that she is keeping the other one for an emergency. I agreed as long as it was only for emergencies.
Woo.
Man, this is the most like insane route just to get to putting a lock on a door.
I know. I feel like it's like I had no idea how much tragedy could occur from not having locked doors.
I mean, truly.
I mean, but then again, like prison, like that's just a door lock away from releasing murderers on the street.
That is true.
So I guess locked doors are really important.
Maybe they are.
You know, maybe it's as important to keep people out as to keep them in.
That's true.
Deep,
Oh, God.
if you think about it.
Way too deep. But so what's the question here?
Do you have locks on your doors? When you were a
Yes.
kid, were you able to lock your door? And if you have kids, do you let them lock their doors?
Yes,
I want
absolutely.
to know why or why not.
But also, I think a question is, are the grandparents the a-hole for taking the vacation money, the not gift money, and using that to pay for it?
Shouldn't the sister pay for something? I feel like there's no repercussions for the sister, and like the sister's not learning anything
At all.
as a result.
Like this sister is just complete, and the sister's probably going to do something like this again.
Yeah, she's gonna strike once more. She's gonna get a lockpicking kit and just go into the deadbolt door and steal the keys again.
For a second, I thought you were going to say she was going to strike like her unfair treatment. Like, you know, you should pay me for wrecking the car. Like, just take it one step further.
Yeah, you know what? With these stories, like I wouldn't put it past them.
That's true. That's
Fucking
true.
crazy. Let us know if you were able to lock your doors when you were a kid, or if you let your kids lock their doors. Today, I effed up by allowing my girlfriend to date girls. She may not be satisfied with your head game anymore. So me and my girlfriend have been a couple for nearly 7 years.
Wow.
7 years.
Impressive.
We met in college and are now in our late 20s, early 30s. For context, I was her first, but I myself had some significant experience with dating both men and women. Also, as I started college, not right after high school, she's some years younger than me. Our relationship has been somewhat open from the start. In the first years, we've been having occasional threesomes and met other couples, which was fun and easygoing. I don't think that part was a today I effed up, and I would happily do that again.
Oh, God.
Very happily. After 4 years, my girlfriend broke down crying and told me that she isn't sure if meeting girls or sex with me in the room would be sufficient for her in the future, as she realized she is more bi than she thought. So bye to the boyfriend.
Yeah. I only like women.
This is where the Today I Effed Up starts. I instantly agreed that she can go on solo dates because I thought all I want is to see her happy. She will thank me later. This will strengthen our relationship. She doesn't have any experience whatsoever, so she will regret not having made that experience later in life if I don't allow her to do it now. So, I mean, honestly, not a bad thought process. She also somehow suggested that I will profit from that decision. Profit? What, we started OnlyFans over here?
Business opportunity.
Not only will I get off, but you will get rich, sir. Basically, she said she would be introducing me to the women she'll meet along the way. Up to that point, it had been 99% me who had been organizing dates and managing all these stupid dating profiles on multiple platforms. Well, of course, it didn't go well. My girlfriend had quite some fun, and all I received were the stories of her experiences. No profit for OP.
Wow, $0 ahead.
This was perfectly fine for a year or so. At one point, I was allowed to also meet women after arguing about that point for quite some time, but I just didn't get to the point of going to solo dates when all I wanted was to have a happy girlfriend. I tried once and then it died down. Needless to say, my girlfriend never ever actively introduced me to a single person she met. After a year or so, things started to deteriorate. My girlfriend had met about 10 women already, and I also allowed her to have a threesome with 2 other women. So that's a lot to juggle.
You've heard of love
That's
triangle.
a lot to. Hey, she's good at multitasking, I guess. Some months ago, 2 years after the single dating phase started, the situation finally exploded. The breakdown is she isn't sure of her sexuality anymore. She isn't looking for sex. She's actually actively looking for a relationship on the side because she cannot separate between sex and love. She needs the emotional connection to have fun, and it is desirable for her to have a second female partner for the needs I cannot satisfy.
Oh,
The head game, man. That your head game week.
it's 2 weeks.
She will always think of other women. She isn't sure if she finds me attractive in that way anymore. She never intended to do the single dating part for the sake of our relationship. She was really just doing it for herself. Thus, she wasn't honest to me and to herself the whole time. However, she didn't want to break up as I am still the love of her life. And all she wanted to do was find a way to have it all. So, John,
No.
who is the a-hole in this story?
Oh.
I want to know your thoughts, feelings. Put your comments in the comment section below. I want to know what you
Please.
guys think. But is there an a-hole of this story? And if so, who?
It's the girlfriend. Absolutely.
The girlfriend.
I mean, without a doubt. Like at least I feel like you should have
tell what's
broken it
happening
off
as
it's
yeah,
happening. And like I almost am like, it'd be better to break it off because this went on for a year.
a year.
So a year of OP
10
just being
to 12
like
people.
not sure, like always like, what do I have? And then to ultimate, like you were gonna say all this stuff anyways. So why not be like preemptive and like, I just want to make sure I don't string you along and not hurt you anymore versus like a year of like pain and then the
I don't think
finisher.
the girlfriend was thinking about how she could or couldn't hurt OP.
No. I think she's just like experimenting around and like maybe she's right and she really didn't realize it, but it's like you have to think that it's not gonna feel
great.
for
But
him.
I think I would like to know the experience of for our audience that is on the queer side. So like, did you ever date your like the opposite sex first,
right,
and then realize later that you wanted to like date guys or girls or whatever it was? Did you ever have to make that transition, I guess, known to your partner?
Yeah.
Like, did you how did you ever make that known?
Yeah.
I'm curious if like how that, for the people who realized they were gay during their relationship.
Yes.
What did you do?
Yeah. That's
Or
a
did
big
you just break
question.
it off? Or did you say like, hey, I'm more interested in guys/girls or whatever? I'm curious.
I'm gonna shut down my brother's wedding. You think I give a fuck? I don't. Am I the a-hole?
Your siblings don't deserve love.
You know, I've always said that,
There's
Sam.
only one person that deserves love, and it's you. Everyone else should just feel pain in the wake of your love.
So to make a novel story short, my female 27 brother, male 30, met his future wife, Ella, female 28, at a party 3 years ago. Honestly, we never got along, but I always tried to put up a peaceful front because my brother seemed blissfully happy with her.
Red flag.
Yep. How dare you be in love?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
Lame.
Ella was mean to me a lot. Like a lot. She would make up comments about my weight, my makeup, and especially my dog.
Even the dog?
I mean, damn, even the dog is catching stray bullets over here.
What did the dog do?
She hated animals and hated that I would bring my lab, Toast, cute dog name,
Great dog name.
to my parents' or my brother's house. Always just felt like something aimed to hurt me. When the two got engaged, she asked me to be her maid of honor since she has no sisters and not many girlfriends. And since my brother seemed thrilled, I obliged. I love how it's just like, hey, so like I had like no other female friends. So could you just like do this for me?
Yeah. Also, it sounds like this girl hates OP.
Yeah.
And she wants her to be her maid of honor?
What I failed to realize when I accepted the role was that to her, the maid of honor meant planning the entire wedding. Literally planning the whole wedding.
It's literally a role. This is a fake relationship.
Like I was booking venues, florists, jazz bands, everything. Even worse, she expected me to put my credit card down for all of it.
What?
This is a farce.
Wait, but aren't you supposed to plan your own wedding?
Yes.
Maybe the maid of honor does like a bachelorette party, but not your whole wedding.
Absolutely not. And not pay for it. My God. My brother and her are not exactly well off. And since I have a well-paying job, I don't mind holding the deposits, but it was starting to add up a lot. That is the biggest red flag of all time.
I just don't think you're going to get that money back.
It's awful because A, you should never ask someone to do that. It's just stupid. And B, the consequence, what if she's like, no, I don't want to do the wedding anymore? Loses the deposit on her credit card. Every time I would ask Ella about it, she would say that, oh, it's all going to be paid back by her parents before the wedding. It's totally cool. Don't worry.
I'm sensing a train wreck.
And then the parents paid back everything with interest.
Oh, wow.
Just kidding. This is Reddit stories.
Reddit stories where our dreams are slashed.
Well, flash forward to last week, about 3 weeks before the wedding, and she is unbearable to be around. She can't last more than a few minutes before snapping at anyone. So when I, of course, brought up the money, crap started hitting the fan. I asked if she had received the updated receipt of everything owed when she exploded. She called me a whole line of terrible names, but the one that stuck out was, "What do you need the money for anyway? Your sick dog is dead now."
Wait, the dog is dead? Why are you bringing dead dogs into this?
It's just so many layers. I can't even begin. Oh my God. My beautiful Toasty died about a month before this after we fought the bravest battle with his cancer. He was my sole dog and I was devastated. Oh my God.
Holy this person's so bad.
She's planning her whole wedding, putting her money down for everything.
Paid for it.
Bro. Oh my God. I blinked at her and simply left the room, having no energy to even respond to something so cruel. I went back to my car, and after the silent 20 minutes drive home, I parked the car and immediately called the vendors and canceled any deposit under my card.
Wow. Can you cancel a deposit?
That's a good question.
Unless maybe she just made it.
I canceled every single one. After almost 20 calls, all that was left of her wedding was the dress and the flower arch. I texted my brother a short explanation. I told him that every vendor would be contacting him if they wished to keep their services, and they were now responsible for covering everything. And I would no longer be attending the wedding.
Wow. I'm surprised the brother hasn't like stepped in and all.
And if this is how she was treating her now, she said she had a history of being mean to her. So, oh my God. It was a matter of minutes before my phone started to explode and I just turned it off.
Smart.
Yeah, that's all you can do at that point. It's been a few days and I haven't talked to anyone but my mom, who thankfully understands where I'm coming from. My brother has tried to call, but I just feel terrible, both about what I did and about what she said. I know what I did was extreme, but I also couldn't sit by and practically enable her cruelty anymore. I still can't help but feel bad for ruining my brother's big day. So I don't know. Am I the asshole for this?
I want to know what everyone else thinks. Put it in the comments.
Please.
But I think something that I'm feeling is like a little bit, yes, for canceling, but you also shouldn't have put your card down in the first place.
That's where I'm like, she was not obligated to do that in the first. Like, that was such an immense favor that like it kind of has this like feeling on the surface of like, oh my gosh, you like canceled everything and ruined it. But it's like like that is a very unreasonable thing to ask somebody. If at any point, like imagine she had some expense come up and it's like, I can't like be laden with these potential. It's just insane.
It's just a lot of liability.
It's
and it
so
doesn't
much
seem
liability.
like, I feel like if OP's brother went through with the wedding, I think they would owe a ton of money and wouldn't be able to pay it back. And I think then OP would be out like a bunch of money.
Honestly, this is probably like a really big dodged bullet because from everything we knew, it was 3 weeks to the wedding and they hadn't paid anything back to the parents. So it's like,
why would they continue?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I want to know what everyone else thinks. That is an absolute crazy situation. I would never pay for someone, especially someone I didn't like.
Yeah, that's my only like thing on OP is like, OP, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah,
like
you're putting yourself in a really bad position.
Absolutely. I would also like to hear if you guys have any crazy wedding stories.
Yes.
We would love to hear those.
Put them in the comments immediately.
Yes. And we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
I want to abandon my stepson, but my husband won't let me. I think it's fine. Am I the a-hole?
It is fine because if he's a little he deserves to be abandoned.
Ooh, sorry. My husband, 39, male, and I have been married for 5 years. We have 2 children of our own, both girls aged 5 and 2, and I have a son, 10 male, from a previous marriage, but I was widowed. My husband's ex is barely involved in stepson's life at all. They got divorced when stepson was 2, and his ex wanted a fresh start, so my husband did the decent, selfless thing and had complete custody of their son, even though he'd wanted shared custody.
A fresh start. Imagine being like, yo, I know we have this kid together, but I just want a fresh start.
I got a bonus at work and I really just want to go on vacation with my family just once. We've been on family vacations all together lots of times, but just once I want to spend my money on going on vacation where I'm not looking after someone else's kid.
Bruh, when you get married, you take on that baggage.
Yeah.
That baggage is now your baggage.
I want stepson to stay with his mom while we go on vacation. My husband sees my point of view and is okay with it. I don't think I'm being unreasonable at all. My mom found out what I was planning and says I am being a complete a-hole.
Yeah, I think so.
These are the reasons that she says I could be the a-hole. 1, my mom says that if stepson's mom isn't properly involved in his life, I should be even more involved in his life to compensate. I think this is a completely unfair expectation.
I don't know. I think if you marry in, you got to kind of like marry the kids too.
Yeah, kind of part of the deal. Number 2, she also says that I'm being a hypocrite taking my son, but I think that's totally different because my son doesn't have another parent and I'm all he's got.
OP.
If stepson's mom won't take him just this once, then obviously he'll come on vacation with us. But I don't think I'm the a-hole to ask if I can have a vacation with my own family just one time.
He's part of your family.
Dude, he's part of your family. It's not like I hate my stepson or something. He's a nice kid. He's just not mine. Am I the a-hole? Well, we do have an update, Sam.
Oh my God. I'm so excited for this update being like, I guess I'm the a-hole. If that is not the update, I'm going to be very mad.
As of right now, put in the comments if you think OP is the a-hole or not. We definitely won't be going on vacation without my stepson.
Thank God.
After a couple hours of replies, I decided to show this to my husband. We sat down and had a really long talk about it. He told me he's never been comfortable with my attitude to my stepson, but didn't know how to say it to me before. I don't want to be a bad person. I just never thought of stepchildren being yours.
Real children. I never thought of stepchildren being like real life human beings that have thoughts and feelings.
I don't think it would be easy for anyone to accept this level of criticism, but all of your replies have shown me I have a lot of work to do.
I love how OP phrased that. It's like, not everyone would be as good as accepting the criticism as me, but I now know that I can and will work on this.
As many of you suggested, and so did my husband, I intend to see a therapist to help me with that. As I said, I don't hate my stepson in any way. I have never been deliberately cruel to him. I've just always thought of him as my husband's child, but I realize my mindset needs to change. So I'm going to to start working on that. I want my family to be the best it can be, and I need to accept that that includes my stepson. I understand that now, and I'm going to start seeing a therapist to become a better person. We've also talked about maybe having family therapy too. I've also made up with my mom, and she is 100% behind the changes I want to make in my life. It wasn't easy to hear everything you said, but I understand that I needed to hear it.
Damn straight. Well, I guess that's one less evil stepmother.
That's right. You know, one less apple to poison the stepchildren of the world.
That is what this show is about.
That's
Just
right.
like eliminating evil stepmothers across the world. Do you have a bad relationship with your stepmom or dad or sibling? Put it in the comments below.
But let me see it.
My sister demands a child-free wedding, so I'm going to boycott it because I'm with the children.
You know, I stand with the children.
You know, I was once a child myself.
Really?
Yep. Still am. For some background, I am the youngest of 4 girls. My 2 older sisters, 32, 30, both have kids. My third sister, 27, doesn't and is getting married at the end of the month. I, 23, also don't have children, but my partner and I hope to have some in the future. Older sister lives overseas with her husband and so is mostly irrelevant in this situation.
Get out of my face.
Her and sister 3 don't speak. Dang. Imagine being the irrelevant sister.
Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Why are you still in the picture?
We literally don't care about you. That's why we wanted you to move across the sea. Anyway, sister 3 is having a child-free wedding. She is like aggressively child-free. We don't really get along. So basically, our parents are old farts, lol, I love them, and can no longer drive. I can't drive either, but my husband can, as can my older sister. She's a single mom, though, and had no one to watch her kids. I wonder if anyone can see where this is going. My husband and soon-to-be brother-in-law hate each other. There's a lot of hate going on in this family already.
Yeah, really. This is not good.
They grew up together and there's just a lot of hard feelings there. So my husband wasn't going to the wedding. I was going to have him drop me off. Wow.
Dang.
What happened?
There's so much beef in this family.
This is like a D-grade porn movie because, man, is there some salami entering the picture.
Did you order the extra large?
In the end, last weekend, after months of anxiety, I said I would stay with the kids so my parents and sister could go. She will drive them and attend in my place. Once we decided, my husband gave the okay to work on the day of the wedding. My sister fucking lost her mind. Then decided she would have someone else drive our parents and asked me to come. I told her, no, my older sister wants to go. I'd rather her there anyway, as if one of our parents falls or something, she knows what to do. It also sounds like OP just doesn't want to go to this wedding either.
No.
This is just an excuse.
Great excuse, actually.
No. Sister lost it and said I was being selfish. And this is where I may have been the asshole. I then told her I didn't see the point in going to an event half the family would be missing from referencing the kids. I guess the child freeness of the wedding. She said it shouldn't matter to me because I don't have kids. I then said they were in better company than her and point blank refused to attend her wedding. Okay, so like not being able to is just an excuse. Like OP legitimately doesn't want to go.
Yeah.
Even if the kids have a babysitter, which sister is now offering to pay for, I wouldn't go.
Oh.
She's so upset. I feel a little bad, but not much. My older sister says I'm in the right. Second sister says she feels really bad. Our parents aren't really acknowledging the situation. I think they just want to see their daughter get married. So am I the a-hole? What do you think, John? Also, what do you think about a child-free wedding?
I understand it, but I don't know if I would do that or like
What if you wanted to have like a nudist wedding?
rock out with your out. That's what I say.
Like, I don't think I would personally do it, but I could see wanting to have a child-free wedding.
I understand where it comes
Like,
from.
what if you're like, you want to do like a rave, you want to just do a bunch of drugs with your friends?
Yeah.
Or you want to go backpacking in the forest with a couple pals, and that's your wedding.
There it is.
I could see not wanting kids to be there. I think OP's a little bit of the a-hole for going that far.
It's kind of like she's virtue signaling almost in a way of like,
Yeah.
No, I want the kids there. It's like, no, you just don't want to be there.
Yeah, it seems like there's something deeper against the sister. But let's go into the updates. So apparently, the vote for this story was everyone's the asshole. Everyone who was asking about the drama between my husband and brother-in-law, here you go. I had to get permission from the sister-in-law before I could share. So my sister-in-law, husband's sister, and soon-to-be brother-in-law, sister's almost husband, dated in high school. He got her pregnant and dipped. he tried to force an abortion on her and accused her of cheating, the whole shebang. When she had the baby, she had a DNA test done and sued him for child support. The entire time, he was slating her name, making her feel horrible, tried to force her to put her son up for adoption. When the son was 5 months old, he passed away due to an undetected medical issue. She was suffering and hospitalized. Brother-in-law made a post about being free from the shackles of his bank-draining baby mama and went on a partying streak to celebrate. Insists that she's a bad mom even now and has never once visited his son's grave and even skipped his funeral. Didn't tell his own family members that he'd passed away, and they also missed his funeral. My husband effing hates him. He ended up having to work overtime to help pay for the funeral as a 15-year-old because brother-in-law refused to step up. He doesn't even acknowledge his son. My sister-in-law is still recovering, no thanks to him, but has welcomed a baby girl in the past year, and she is an amazing mom. The term bad blood is an understatement. That is a crazy offshoot of the story. Holy shit.
So wait, so it was basically OP's
sister-in-law and the soon-to-be brother-in-law dated in high school.
Right. So the two of her siblings-in-laws used to date, and one who's about to be, and she absolutely hates it.
So her husband's sister, yeah.
Right. Which is kind of like, is OP not warning
her husband's sister and her sister's almost husband?
Right. So wouldn't she be warning her sister, like, hey, don't be with this guy? I don't know. Maybe she already has.
Yeah, maybe he probably already knows.
Yeah.
But maybe that's why they're so anti-kid. Like maybe the sister is like, kids, I'm glad that you didn't go to this little shit's funeral.
God. I mean, if that, they kind of do sound like they're made for each other a little bit. Like,
which maybe is why OP is like definitely doesn't want to go to the wedding, because it seems like her sister, if her sister wants to marry this dude, does that say something about her own values?
I kind of feel like it does.
I think it does too. This makes me think that OP is not an a-hole for not going to the wedding.
So really the only thing here is like she was pointing at like the fact that, oh, there's no children allowed, when in reality she probably just doesn't want to go and like doesn't want to be around them, right?
Yes.
So maybe she's not being like fully honest per se, but like at the end of the day, I feel like if, you know, I mean, the sister sounds like not fun to be around and not someone that you want to like spend time with, but also maybe she, like the sister herself, hasn't done anything as heinous. So
guilt by association.
Yeah, this relationship seems to be in this weird limbo phase of like being siblings together or not.
Yeah, it's very complicated. It's very, very complicated. Is anyone child free in the audience? But like not like child free is like, oh, I don't have kids, but like child free is in like, I don't have kids and I never want kids.
Yeah,
I would love to know in the comments what you think, because I want kids.
Please do. Me too.
Yeah, I don't want kids.
We just want a little, that's our next round of podcast hosts, you know?
Yeah.
Keep it in the family.
Keep it in the family. We're going to train them well.
John and Sam
They're
Jr.
not going to go to school. They're just going to become podcast hosts.
Yeah.
It's going to be their whole livelihood.
Am I the a-hole for stealing my daddy's podcast?
Wow. Good job, son.
Good job.
All right, let's get into the next one.
I kicked my brother-in-law and his family to the streets. Their kids are dirty and I don't want them. Am I the a-hole?
Yeah, they belong in the streets where the dirt is.
That's right. You know, back to nature. You know what I mean?
Get to the fucking forest.
That's right. So my husband's brother, 35 male, and his wife, 26 female, have 2 boys, 4 and 3. They moved in with me and my husband, both 30, last month because they got evicted. Sorry to hear that. I never wanted them here in the first place due to past issues, but after speaking with my husband, we decided for the sake of the young children to give them a place to stay. Before they moved in, we set some ground rules, such as my brother-in-law must be actively job searching and they must respect, capital RESPECT,
my authority,
our space, and clean up after themselves. Unfortunately, in the past month, they have begun to slowly destroy my home and my space without giving 2 shits. First of all, my sister-in-law is an extremely picky eater, so their family doesn't eat with us. Fine.
Red flag.
Red flag. But they never, ever clean up after themselves, constantly leaving dirty dishes, pans, crumbs, food stains, all of that garbage. When I tell them to clean up after themselves, they begrudgingly do it, but it's never a job well done. Last week, one of the boys peed on my very expensive couch.
Peed egged on? How old are these boys?
3 and 4. He's 18, just like, yeah, freaking peed on his couch, yeah.
Came home drunk, from the boys.
Take this, auntie.
It was so white, it looked like a urinal, I swear.
I couldn't even tell.
Yeah.
What if that is the 3-year-old? It's like, yeah, I just got wasted off some juicy with the boys. Where's Palace?
Oh, God, dude, that sucks.
Which I only found out about after smelling piss when I was watching TV. Sister-in-law is a stay-at-home mom, but she's more like a stay in her room doing God knows what while her 2 children run rampant around my house. In the last 3 weeks, her boys have 1, colored on their bedroom walls, 2, trashed the living room with their toys, and 3, knocked over half of my plant collection. Their whole family has turned my house into an effing zoo while contributing nothing. I have not been able to comfortably live in my own space for the past few weeks. My husband could sense my frustration, so he told me he'd have a talk with them and hire a maid to clean the house. And things got a little better.
I would hope so.
Until.
Oh, no. Thanks, John. Thanks for the until.
You're welcome. Yesterday, I get home from work early and the family is gone. Good, I think. Peace and quiet for a few hours. I decided to take a nap in my bedroom, only to find that my precious vase that my mother handmade for me was shattered on the ground.
No.
This is tough. I lost my mom when I was a teen.
No.
And it is one of the last handmade items that I have from her.
That is tragic.
You would think if someone gave me their house to like live in, I would be like cleaning on my absolute best behavior.
Let John stay in your house. Everything will be fixed. It'll smell like peaches and roses when John's done with it.
I will crawl into your room at 3 a.m. and whisper Reddit stories into your ear.
It's what you want.
Oh God. I immediately knew it was the boys because there were toys inside my room and their tablet was on my bed. I was so angry. I ended up calling my husband, explaining the situation, and told them that they would not stay another day in our house, no questions asked. Then I went around the house picking up their dirty clothes, toys, papers, and threw them outside onto our lawn. When they came back, there was a huge confrontation between me and them. I listed all of the disrespectful things that they've done, and that because they'd met none of the conditions outlined when they first moved in, I wanted them off my property by midnight. I called their kids untrained dogs. All right, Opie's going in.
We're taking a little far.
They screamed back, calling me heartless, cruel, and evil, saying that I'd make them homeless. Well, they did end up leaving after I threatened to call the cops. Husband is fully on my side, but I can tell that he feels a little bad. Mother-in-law called me upset, asking me to take them back in after I quote unquote forced them to sleep in their car last night. Am I the a-hole? Ooh, boy, this is a tough one.
Okay. I mean, they're obviously not respecting the house, and they've had multiple warnings.
Yes.
So I think it's not unreasonable to kick them out. Would I call their children untrained dogs?
No, that's too much.
That's a little far, but kicking them out, they're also 3 and 4, but it sounds like the mom is not doing anything to help. It sounds like the kids are untrained.
Well, untrained children.
I can't blame OP for being a little emotional. That connection to the mom was shattered.
Yeah.
So I don't think OP is the asshole.
I definitely give her like much more of a pass, but the untrained dogs thing is kind of like to re-say it in a way that's actually useful. It's like, you literally do not parent your children. You're not there. You're locked in the room. That would at least let her know, like,
you're doing something wrong and this is what you can do to fix it. Untrained dogs is just an insult.
Yeah.
So maybe cool it on the untrained dogs.
Maybe.
But what would you do in this situation? Also, have you ever had any house guests that have overstayed their welcome?
I feel like there's some pretty crazy house guest stories that we
want to hear them. So put them in the comments below. And just remember, you can stay in the house of the OKOP fam anytime you want. Put a little tent in the comments. Maybe we'll, put a blow up mattress in there.
Yeah.
Stay there for a while. Talk to each other. Talk to us. Because we love you so very much.
We really do.
We love you so very much.
So very much.
So very much. So very much.
See you next time. My wife boned my best friend. I refuse to forgive them, and I'm plotting to ruin their lives. Am I the a-hole? So Poophead, my former best friend, and Sarah have been like family to my wife and I for several years, practically ever since we moved in across the street from them. The four of us were extremely tight. That wasn't the only thing that was tight.
Hey, yo.
Your wife's foot. Our kids are the same age as theirs, and all are good friends. We are one big family union. We did dinner together a few times a week. We went on vacations together. I truly saw Poophead as a brother, and my wife and Sarah were very close too. 5 months ago, I was completely blindsided by the discovery of an affair between my wife and Poophead. My wife had left her email open on her computer, and I saw an email
You're
from
cheating over email? Fucking
Dude.
old people, dude.
I saw an email from her longtime therapist saying that Poophead would be joining her at an upcoming session again.
Wait, why is Poophead going to therapy?
I thought, WTF? My mind started racing. Why in the world would Poophead be going into her therapy sessions without my knowledge? I did a search and found some other emails from the therapist proving that Poophead had been going to sessions together with her for about 6 weeks.
What?
It is getting weirder. I checked our mobile phone account and discovered that since late summer, they had been exchanging hundreds of texts every day, peaking at nearly 500 per day by the holidays.
How do you even send that many texts? That's like all day.
You just got to be like, just like constantly sending back and forth. Speaking of the holidays, my wife and I hosted both of our families, parents, siblings, etc., for both Thanksgiving and Christmas dinner, and Poophead and Sarah joined us either for dinner or after dinner on both holidays.
Does Sarah know though?
That's the question. Text records showed the entire time that they were at our house celebrating with our families, my wife and Poophead were texting each other from across the room. They were doing that pretty much every time the four of us hung out for months. And, you know, all day, every day, just in general. But what bothers me the most is that they were doing it with Sarah and I right
Oh my God.
there.
Probably made it hotter.
Yeah.
So warm.
I confronted my wife with the evidence, and she admitted that yes, she and Poophead had fallen in love. It just happened. I don't know how, but I love him, and I just don't feel anything for you anymore.
Oh, anything?
Anything. I'm so sorry.
You feel nothing for the father of your children?
They had gone on a school district trip together. Something had happened in her hotel room, and things had moved quickly from there.
Oh God, I'm so sorry, OP. That sucks.
She explained as I lay face down on the couch, unable to look at her, that they had already made plans to move out and divorce me and Sarah, and while they didn't plan to move in together immediately because of the kids, they'd probably do so eventually.
Oh.
The meetings with the therapist were supposedly mostly for the purpose of finding a way to break this to me and Sarah as gently as possible because they were so very concerned for our well-being.
I know I'm stabbing you in the heart right now, but I'm really concerned about like taking out the knife. So like, how do you want me to do it? Do you want me to twist it a little bit more?
Sarah and I are fairly certain that they weren't planning on telling us about the affair at all, and were simply going to discover their feelings for one another several months down the line after they'd come up with some other reason to divorce the two of us. Yeah. Oh my God. My wife moved out 2 months ago. I was and still am utterly destroyed. I cry every day. I cried writing the first few paragraphs of the story just now. I worry nonstop about the impact on our kids, but I'm also not exactly a shrinking violet when I feel that I've been wronged. And in this case, I was objectively very, very wronged. You are correct, OP.
Very,
My
very
God.
wrong.
So a couple of weeks ago, Poophead ran for a Board of Education seat as a pretty extreme underdog. I helped him with his campaign materials and debate prep, and my wife, as a well-known school district employee, this becomes important later.
I sense some vengeance a brewing.
Well, she got the word out the best she could. Much to our surprise, he actually won in a squeaker by just a few dozen votes. Being on the board became the center of Poophead's world. He joined every committee that he could. This turned into the foundation of his affair with my wife, as they were constantly going to school events and meeting together on evenings and weekends.
Oh man.
Once I discovered the affair, my thoughts turned pretty quickly to revenge.
Nice.
And it occurred to me that the extramarital affair between a member of the Board of Education and an employee of the school district,
Probably doesn't look too good.
yeah, that was at least bad politics and possibly violated district policy. Making things far worse for them was that my wife was in the running for an open administration position, and everyone knew that she was more or less guaranteed the job and the major pay raise that came with it. Oh man. She had just finished her master's degree in school administration at the urging of her principal and the superintendent so that she could be promoted to this specific position.
OP's hatched a plan to bring it all down.
Oh God. I had plenty of evidence of the affair. Texts from both of them admitting to it, text records showing that they were texting hundreds of times a day.
They're just texting about work.
I considered simply emailing all of the evidence to the board and the superintendent, but I felt like, as the grieving, betrayed spouse, that I might not be seen as a credible source. So instead, I invented a fictitious, furious friend who is planning on showing up to the next board meeting and publicly shaming the two of them for their affair. I told my wife that I tried to talk this person down, but couldn't guarantee that they wouldn't show up and humiliate them publicly. As I expected, this led Poophead to conclude that the only option was for him to preemptively admit the affair to the board directly.
Wow.
The superintendent subsequently recommended that Poophead resign, which he did. Sarah said that he was utterly humiliated and crushed and barely got out of bed for a few days afterward. Once word of the affair and Poophead's resignation started getting around, the superintendent, a longtime friend of both my wife and Poophead, contacted my wife and tearfully informed her that it was no longer politically appropriate for her to be promoted to an administrative position within the district.
I mean, hey, they deserve it.
My wife and I, despite our crumbling marriage, took our son out to breakfast together on his birthday, and a parent stopped by our table to congratulate her on her new role. She said thanks, then excused herself to go cry in the bathroom for a while. I let the dust settle for a couple of weeks, and then, right before my wife moved out, let them in on my little secret. There was never a furious friend threatening to expose them in the first place. It was me. Word of all of this had gotten around our fairly small town, which Poophead grew up in and my wife worked in for nearly 20 years.
Wow.
My wife refuses to talk to me about how things are at work right now, but I've heard from some people I know in the district that her formerly spotless reputation has taken a major hit.
Checks out.
Poophead, formerly a gregarious social presence in our neighborhood and at events and pubs in town, has completely gone underground and emerges only to mow his lawn. He's moving out soon to a crappy little townhouse, which is all he can afford due to all the child support he's going to have to pay his wife.
Nice.
My wife and Poophead claim that they plan on trying to make things work together despite all of the public humiliation. I wish them lots of luck with that. I'm sure that it will be a lot of fun to show their faces in town together again.
Dude, that's the rough part of living in a small town. You can't escape your shit. If you fuck up, it is everywhere.
That's and it's like, what can you do from there? Like anytime, it's like
You gotta move towns.
it's like a celebrity being canceled, and you see him on the street, and you're like,
Fuck you.
oh man, like
It's
what?
like Jonah Hill. He's like one of those celebrities that like I think I'm cooler than.
Hey Sam, you're pretty cool.
Thanks.
You're way cooler than Jonah Hill.
Thanks. So
Way
are
cooler.
you. So are you.
Thank
the bar
you.
is low though. The Jonah Hill is.
That is true. We're not making a huge leap, but that's okay. You know.
Oh man, I feel even bad saying that. It feels like I'm punching down.
Punch.
The family I babysit for shared private videos of me behind my back. I'm quitting today. Am I the a-hole? I've worked for a really nice, normal family for a few months. At least I thought so. All of these adjectives are about to go down the toilet.
Oh.
NK is 10 months old and very sweet. She's super active though, and she often fights me on nappy changing. I have a gentle approach, and if she rolls/crawls away, I just encourage her to come back. Let her play for a moment and then try again. So as you can imagine, it can take a while.
I can't imagine.
NF has cameras in both kids' rooms, which I don't mind and was informed of, and I was told they were just for safety, mostly just for at night, with the rooms being spaced out and noise not traveling.
Hey, makes sense.
Well, a family friend who knows NF contacted me last night showing me MB had shared a video of me from the nanny cam of me changing NK's nappy on Facebook with a caption like, nanny taking half an hour to change a nappy the laughing emoji.
So not only are you going to share these private videos of me, you're also going to insult my diaper changing skills?
There's comments basically making fun of me. One person even said to find a new nanny. She replied saying things like, "We love our nanny, but was in hysterics watching this. Not going to lie, I cried for an hour."
Oh.
I'm a very private and highly anxious person, and I feel so hurt and betrayed by MB. I work part-time, was last there after she shared the video, and she didn't say anything, and I'm supposed to be working on Thursday, but I'm dreading going in. I kind of just want to ghost her and never go back again. I'm so humiliated, and I don't know how to deal with this going forward. So these are some things that OP has done. I've drafted out a response, but I'm going to sleep on it and send it tomorrow. I have no intention of returning to their house. I have started to update my contract to make my boundaries clear, and I'm heartbroken because I love those kids, but I have to put myself first. Thank you for helping me see that. I guess I will update once I've sent the message, and there is an update. But what do you think?
Everyone just has like a different, so at the end of the day,
Different
if
comfort.
someone doesn't want that, then it is what it
Yeah.
is. Like you have to respect that.
So, update. I've sent the message. Basically, I told her I saw the video and that it's inappropriate for her to share footage of me online without my consent, that I feel disrespected, and I no longer will be a nanny for their family. Thanks for everyone giving me the courage. And there is another update. So,
Ooh.
I let her know I was quitting, that I saw the post, etc. She took a few hours to respond, and her response was unhinged. She told me I had no right snooping on her social media, and the footage was of her baby, so it was fine. She asked me to please come in until she found a replacement. I told her I was uncomfortable returning and that the video and comments really upset me. She offered to remove the cameras, but I stood strong and told her I was not coming back. Snooping on social media. Social media is public. What do you mean snooping?
Like also just the hilarious hypocrisy of like, let me post this video of you having, no
Yeah.
idea that you're, we're recording and posting you, like, but you're snooping on me? Wait, what?
Yeah, kind of ridiculous. I asked her to remove the video, and according to the family friend, it's been taken down. However, she must have blocked me as I can't see her Facebook anymore. I haven't heard from her since Wednesday. Thank you again for everyone encouraging me. I'm such a non-confrontational person, and I think if I didn't post here, I would have never said anything. A nanny friend of mine is moving overseas, so her family has an opening coming up, and they are amazing. My friend has let them know I'm looking, and so I may have a new family already.
Yeah, I think this is the best possible outcome that could have happened in this.
Yeah, I mean,
scenario,
it's like
right?
definitely weird to, I don't know. I can see wanting to post videos of your kids, but
Because think about this
Yeah.
too, going both ways. Like imagine there's like a nanny, probably younger, maybe like early college age, high school age or whatever. And then she's like taking videos of the baby and stuff and then just starts like uploading it. And you're
Yeah.
like, I don't know if I want, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like as the
I feel like
the
you just
parent
have
is,
to ask.
you have to ask. And
Yeah.
especially in an environment like that where you're like, I don't know, it's just like changing a baby. Like
Maybe,
it just
yeah,
feels
a little weird.
even weirder,
Well, I mean, in terms of recording people that don't want to be recorded, I was in Amish country and I went into a store of a non-Amish guy. It was like the only store open on Sunday. And I was like, hey, I'm just like, and then he looks at my camera and he's like, has like a thick accent. He's like, are you recording? I mean, like, yeah, I said I was making a video. And he's like, shut that down now. I'm like, okay. And I like shut it down. I'm like, hey, sorry, I didn't mean to do anything. And he's like, I will call my lawyer right now. I will call my lawyer right now. I know who you are and I know what you do. And I'm like, I have no idea who you think I
doubted a little, but
and he's like, I will call my lawyer. I will call my lawyer. I'm like, all right, dude, like I'm leaving. And he starts like yelling at me and berating me, right? I go out of his little shop, which like I was about to buy something. He just drove away business.
Yeah.
But I go out of his shop. I'm walking down the street and then I come back and then he is pacing outside of his store, then locks eyes with me and starts running across the street, like fist clenched. And I'm like, yo, dude, I don't want to talk to you. He's like, I know who you are. I know what you do. I know who you are. I know what you do. And starts like yelling and yelling and yelling. And I'm like, dude, don't talk to me. And I was with my friend Bryce and he started talking to the guy and he's like, hey, like, don't worry. We're not going to put you in the video, and like tries to calm him down. But I was just like not trying to engage because it looked like he was about to swing at me, but he was pissed. That was in public.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild.
It was crazy.
Interaction.
Yeah. It was nuts. It was nuts.
Coming soon, the man that attacked Sam.
Yeah.
YouTube video.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. But wow. What did it say? Yeah, I wonder if anyone else has any like stories along those lines of like either
people who are being recorded.
Yeah,
that didn't
people are
wanna be.
recording maybe even like by accident. You know, you're recording your friend or like someone just does something weird on the accidental exposures
Some
of
people are
recordings.
weird about being like online too.
It's true. It's true.
We are not. So
That's true.
share this video with all your friends.
Please do. I opened up to my boyfriend about my past sugar daddy and he didn't take it well. And now I might lose my job.
What is your job being a sugar mama? A sugar baby?
Yeah.
My boyfriend is mad that I'm currently exchanging sexual favors for my sugar daddy.
So I, 36 female, was fortunate to have a long and loving marriage to a wonderful man for 12 years. Sadly, he passed away in a car accident 2 years ago, just before the beginning of the pandemic. Between grieving and the pandemic, I did not date at all for about a year and a half, but decided to try to get out there and meet some people this past summer once it was over. Online dating was just kind of a bust, but in the fall, I connected with Joe, 37 male, who works at the same large company as me, but in a completely different department. We're not in the same chain of command and our paths do not cross at all in terms of our work. We just met at the employee gym. We had lunch a few times and ultimately decided to start spending time together outside of work, evolving into a relationship we agreed to describe as committed casual.
Committed casual.
I have never heard that term before.
I guess it's like we're exclusively hooking up with each other, but we're not putting any labels on.
Right. Like you're my side piece, but my one and only side piece.
Yeah, exactly.
As in monogamous, but just having fun and not planning for a future together. We initially decided to do things this way because Joe is relocating this summer to another company office across the country. So with an expiration date looming, we wanted to enjoy each other's company without any particular expectations. This worked well for me too, because a big part of me was still grieving my husband. And as of a few months ago, I was not ready to think of a lifelong commitment to anyone else, which is like very understandable,
valid.
honestly. About a week ago, Joe told me that he was really falling for me and might want to rethink the casual categorization.
That always happens. It
Always happens.
You can't keep casual. One party is going to want to dress up for the occasion.
Oh, goodness. I told him I was feeling the same way,
Oh,
Shadi.
really? Where's the sugar babiness coming in?
Well,
Waiting.
get ready because I'm about to sprinkle you with all kind of sugar, buddy.
Sprinkle it.
But that I had to tell him something about my past with the understanding that it might be a deal breaker.
Uh-oh.
Specifically, I had a very rough upbringing with parents who were both addicts, alcoholics, and instead of going in a bad direction, I threw myself into school and I managed to graduate early from high school and got a full scholarship to college at the age of 16.
Dude, that's a really big secret that she just shared. Really big, dark, deep secret.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like pretty
That she pulled herself out of
and
poverty.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very positive secret to keep, I might say.
Positive, deep, dark secret.
Yeah.
All right, where's the actual secret? I want to hear it.
However, when I got to college, despite having my tuition, room, and board covered, I was still broke and didn't have enough money for things like clothes and toiletries, etc. I really struggled for the first couple of months. Due to my age being under 18, I was turned down for the on-campus jobs I applied for. Ugh, that absolutely sucks. The father of one of my college friends,
Oh, daddy?
a divorced man in his 40s who lived in the local town, noticed my difficulties and offered to help me out a little bit.
Yeah, just out of the kindness of his heart, right?
Oh yeah, but just what a sweet man.
Oh, and she's underage. She's 17.
I realize now that he was grooming me into entering a sugar daddy / baby type relationship, but I didn't see it at the
Oh,
time.
yikes.
He bought me food and clothes and mentored me while I had trouble in my classes and gave me a place to go when I wanted to go off campus. Our relationship didn't turn intimate for a few months, but eventually it did. 16 was the age of consent in the state, so technically this was not illegal, although morally wrong in retrospect.
Definitely weird.
Yeah, very weird. It lasted throughout the time that I was 16 to 17 and really did help me survive. Mostly it was him buying me practical things that I needed for school or just living, not luxury items, with a small amount of pocket money, $20 to $40 here and there. When I turned 18, we mutually decided to end it and I was able to get a couple part-time on campus jobs.
That's so weird.
Yeah, that is very, very, very,
Super
very
predatory.
weird. Like massively predatory. And like 16, 17, like, oh my God.
Like a 40-year-old.
I graduated at 20 and went on to get a master's degree and now have a good career. I never had further contact with the older man. My classmate, who was his daughter, ended up transferring to another college and we lost touch. Although I did look him up online now and then over the years and understood that he passed away a few years ago. I never repeated this sort of arrangement with anyone else. I met my husband a couple of years after things ended with the older guy and he knew everything and he accepted me. But back to Joe. I would have completely understood him not wanting to have an emotionally serious relationship with someone who essentially made it through college as a sex worker. So I wasn't that surprised that he was upset and angry and that he broke up with me.
But how about the context? Context.
I have some. Well,
and also, like, I don't know if I view that as like sex worker.
No, like this is, what we can dive more into in the end, but I think this is very, very benign. Other than from the guy's perspective.
The guy's perspective, it's weird, but from
her side, like I do not think I think is very far from worth breaking up with someone over. Very far.
But I mean, hey, he can break up with whoever he wants to break up with,
However, I did not expect that he would go to HR at our mutual employer, telling them that I had hidden my sex work past and asked them to discipline me for misconduct.
What?
What?
And it wasn't even sex work.
This is insane. I just found out about this on Friday and I am reeling. I know what I did was wrong, at least morally speaking, but I was under 18 and it was about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I didn't think that my sex life as a teenager 2 decades ago is my employer's business.
It's not.
It is not. I have to go in for a meeting about it on Tuesday, and I am just sick with worry that I'm going to get fired. So I guess I'm just looking for opinions here. Like, how in the wrong am I? Should I just try to apologize to Joe? What should I say to my employer? I am feeling very lost and scared.
Wow, this guy is a piece of work.
There is an update where I think we find out what happens.
Man, I can't. It's so weird that he went to the employer. I don't understand why he would do that.
What an asshole.
What an asshole.
Like,
so insecure.
I've known people that have been in
sugar daddy situations.
Like a very casual, like, it wasn't anything crazy.
Roommates that were doing sugar daddy.
It kind of makes sense, especially a lot of them. It's just like go out to dinner and stuff like that.
They
so
just
have
like dinner paid for.
And look, you know what? If he doesn't want to stay with her, whatever. It's his.
But to go to our employer,
that is so just
the employer. There's nothing to be done.
No.
Like, I don't even know why they're taking it seriously.
It just doesn't seem like a big deal at all to me.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're just so progressive.
Yeah, we're so woke. Woke daddies. But let's see what happened here in this update. I know many folks requested an update after my meeting with HR that took place earlier this week. First, I did retain an attorney who accompanied me to the meeting. That is actually genius. That was really smart. Unfortunately, it didn't really help in this case as I was fired for cause. Oh my God. No severance or transition period due to the potential to bring scandal/shame to the company for my past as a prostitute.
Where's the proof?
Yeah.
Where's the proof?
Like, how do they have legal grounds to do this? Not just the proof, but also discrimination laws, employment laws. Like, I feel like this is breaking
every law,
like multiple things. I
don't understand how they could do that. I'm surprised the lawyer didn't help. I feel like there's an ability to have a lawsuit here.
Definitely, which hopefully is what happens. Even though my company doesn't have a morality clause restricting sexual behavior or anything, even though it was 20 years ago, and even though it was one relationship and not ongoing escort work. Yes, I am exploring further legal action both against my former employer and Joe, mostly against the company, as I'm investigating, for example, if they have penalized women for their sexual past, but not men. Yeah, if they pull this kind of bullshit, like...
It doesn't make sense to penalize someone for their sexual past.
There's no proof. So many like laws they're breaking and so many things they're doing wrong here at the company.
Why couldn't she just say, yeah, I had a relationship with a guy and he supported me?
What is the deal?
A lot of men support their partners.
What's the difference between like a relationship where it's like we just call each other boyfriend and girlfriend?
Yeah, but sometimes he pays for things. Like, This is bull.
Thankfully, I've been very careful with money and have enough to set aside to manage for a few years if needed until I can get this resolved. I know this isn't the most satisfying update, but I know a lot of people were curious about what did happen at the meeting. I do remain grateful for so many kind comments on my original post. Some more info. No, I'm not going to name and shame in terms of the company. Wish I could, but after this post/thread, I won't be discussing further to avoid compromising my case. Maybe way down the road once any legal issues are resolved. Wow. What a ridiculously insane thing for an employer to do.
I know. I can't imagine that it's legal. I feel like they're going to get screwed.
Yeah, I would heavily suggest OP get a second opinion from another lawyer. If the lawyer was like, oh, it's just caught, like even us, like we're not lawyers, but I feel like they're making so many laws.
Yeah.
And just generally being assholes.
Yeah. This doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense at all.
But what do you think? I mean, I would love to hear your answers in the comments. And also, who's been a sugar baby? We've got to have some sugar babies in the comments. Please share your sugar baby stories.
Please do it.
Okay, we'll see you soon.
See ya. My boss thinks my dick is too big. She wants me to wear less revealing pants. Men and women shouldn't have to do that. Am I the a-hole? If the boss is noticing, you might be packing quite a hog.
Yeah, packing more than you should.
He needs a concealed carry license.
Yeah.
Exactly. And on that note, no better time to intro our wonderful guest, Abby from the Breakup Breakdown podcast. She has an incredible show where she literally interviews people behind the stories of these crazy breakup tales. It's actually quite insane.
Yeah. Abby, can you give us one fun fact about yourself?
Ooh,
a fun fact. I once emceed a Nelly concert.
You emceed a Nelly concert?
Yeah, my day job is I'm actually a radio host. So sometimes I get to do like fun stuff like meet artists and like host concerts. It's a good time.
You came ready with a fun fact.
That's a
My
fun
goodness.
fact.
Now I feel lame. Like, we got to do something, Sam.
No fun facts.
I'm excited to get into it. Are y'all ready?
I'm so ready.
So ready to put men in their place.
This is the battle of the bulge.
Oh my God.
I wear normal pants to work. Our dress code is business casual, and I've gotten myself sized by a reputable tailor. All of my slacks are chinos and are from normal brands that you'd find at Macy's and are a normal/relaxed fit. Yesterday, my boss called me into her office and told me I would no longer be allowed to wear the pants I normally wear in the office and would have to wear something, quote, less revealing. Apparently, my bulge is inappropriate for the workplace. I have a normal sized penis, OP.
And he's proud of it.
I love how he's fast. I'm normal. I'm below average in size.
I actually effing measured it to make sure I wasn't crazy. And yes, I'm pretty close to the US average.
I saw a guy with two penises at We Spa. I know. I just have to bring it up again.
It was quite a discovery. It's worth sharing again.
Did you confront him about his double penis?
Like, how would you confront someone about their double
You do
penis?
some locker room boy talk like, hey, what's up, bro? Nice double dong you got over there, brother. Hell yeah.
I'm just packing one of those, but
yeah. I'm a one for
respect
myself.
the game, brother.
Would a woman with large breasts be told she can't wear anything but baggy clothes?
Yes.
Would she be told by her boss that she must wear nothing but restrictive sports bras to work? I doubt it, especially in my workplace where women 2 seats down from me wear far more provocative clothing than my damn slacks.
Women for years have been told what to wear and what to do with their bodies. So like, I think it's time. Like, I feel like this is the feminism, like the feminism I've never expected, but I'm like here for.
So OP goes back to his boss. I asked her, what should I wear instead? These are my size. And she said, just go buy something looser or get a bigger size. I'm not rebuying my entire collection of work pants. Go ahead and report me to HR. Let's see them try and fire me for having too much dick. Damn. He's owning it now.
They're going to create an entire bylaw in the employee handbook. Be like, if you're packing, you're out of here.
Get out.
Literally.
Get out of here.
Yeah. If you're packing, pack up your things because you're done. Edit. Just to clarify, I'm aware that women have been told to cover up quite a bit in the workplace. I'm not dismissing that, just highlighting the very visible double standard of bodily expression in my own workplace.
It's not the only bodily expression that's very visible. Am I right, boys and girls?
Hey, yo. Edit number 2. People have been asking to see my pants. Oh,
Now they've
God.
just discovered like this niche kink that women have. It's like, oh, you've got a bulge to the pants. Let's see it.
Oh my God, man should have launched an OnlyFans off this Reddit
Oh,
post.
he
He's
really
leaving
should.
money on the
We've
table.
given him the greatest advertising of
Dude,
all
yeah, are you
time.
kidding me?
Like, the suspense is
Oh,
killing
he sent
me.
a picture. He did not.
He sent a picture.
He sent a picture.
Here, let me send this to you, Abby.
Oh my! Wait, you sent it to me. Come on.
This is the bulge they're complaining about? It looks like his cell phone's in his pocket.
Right?
And that's it.
I
Yeah.
see no bulge. Not trying to hurt my man here, but
Yeah.
I see no bulge.
Note that my member is sitting just to the right of the zipper relative to the viewer.
We can't tell. He's like, I swear it's there.
Yeah, right?
Do you see anything, Abby?
I literally see nothing.
My boss demanded that I replace my pants.
Who is this dominatrix boss?
Right? I mean,
Yo,
she's
turned on.
good gravy. She's
50 Shades of Dong here.
And then she told me that she needed to supervise me while I got the replacements.
Yo, she's hitting on him.
She's a total creep.
She is now on administrative leave. To recap, here's the original advice I got. Go to HR. Never talk to HR. Go talk to a lawyer. Lawyer will waste your time. Your pants are fine. You need new pants. She wants to bang you. She hates you.
That's classic Reddit.
After dwelling on all of my options, I settled for a middle-of-the-road approach. I contacted 2 well-known lawyers in my area and I got a consultation from them about my situation. They both thought that while I was sexually harassed, the case wasn't as bulletproof as there was little evidence and no pattern of abuse. They then also warned me about going to HR without any evidence, as it can cascade into me losing my job in unexpected ways. Since I needed evidence and a pattern of abuse, I first wanted to read up on what standards my company has set for managers when it comes to dealing with sexual harassment. I requested from our online learning catalog to take the sexual harassment and tough conversations courses that are normally only required for managers. In the tough conversations module, there was a scenario where a male supervisor needed to ask a female employee to correct her work outfit as it didn't meet the company's dress code. This module, in plain English, states that the supervisor is not to intervene and refers the issue to HR. I assume that the inverse, a female supervisor reprimanding a male's outfit, would follow the same standards. So I sent this email to my boss asking her to follow up on the conversation. To boss, I want to clarify some things regarding my previous conversation. Please confirm whether or not my understanding of this statement is correct. Oh, my man is going in.
Dude, that's like the corporate equivalent of f you. Let me tell you something.
Let me tell you something. My pants violated our dress code by being too tight and revealing my bulge. The issue pertains to all of my pants, not a specific subset of my wardrobe. This is a requirement from management and not a request. Please get back to me. Sincerely, OP. It took over a full workday, but here was the response. Yes, I did tell you to fix your wardrobe. This is not a request.
Take those pants off right now.
Good gravy.
Dominatrix coming out.
I immediately replied to boss. If management is demanding that I replace such a large amount of my work clothing, it must be done at the expense of company name. Please let me know if this is possible, as we'll have to work something else out if it isn't. Her response: this can be done, but I must be with you to supervise your shopping.
Sounds like a date. A weird
Yeah.
dominatrix, weird freaking date.
She's forcing this date.
Best kind of dates, right?
Check my schedule for my availability. A good lord, suddenly the she wants to bang you theories seemed less crazy. I backed up the emails to a personal account and sent everything to HR. Less than 2 hours later, I received a phone call asking me to come to HR immediately and drop my work unless it was time critical. I complied. I was told that they were taking this matter very seriously and that I should take the rest of the day off. I came back to work today and boss is gone.
Fired?
Uh-oh.
Dominatrix boss got out of there.
I was told right before lunch that she had been placed on administrative leave pending a full investigation and that I shouldn't worry. It's against company policy to engage in any form of professional retaliation. I sit here now like a king on a porcelain throne, telling you about my victory during my post-lunch dump. Bye-bye, boss lady.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Damn.
Sweet revenge.
Man, Abby, you joined on a doozy today. This one is
Thumper.
my goodness.
Y'all came out swinging, literally.
Oh,
Yeah, double
literally
dong swinging,
helicoptering.
helicoptering around.
I love the OP for being brave enough, for speaking up. I think men should be talking more about their issues so that men and women, we can come together and realize our problems aren't all that different. And that's the
Talk
campaign
about
I'm
it.
gonna end on.
Holy. We're all coming
Abby's talking that
together.
talk.
Yeah.
What?
Murphy
Yes.
2026.
Yeah. That's
In
right.
that presidential bid right
That's
now.
right. Wow. Beautiful word. You know, that's, I think that's
The
my same
only
statement.
thing, though, the
Only thing.
all
Uh-oh. Tell us, Sam.
I think OP should have caught the boss a little bit more red-handed.
Ooh, a
You know?
sting operation.
Yeah, I think sting operation, go in with a wire,
Happy's face.
to this pants show.
Yeah.
All right. And catch the boss in the act. Better yet, all right, go to the point of almost completion and then just say, got you. How dare you?
You want to put our victim in a compromising situation?
To
My
catch,
client
That's
here.
exactly
catch a
what-
criminal. To catch a criminal. It's like what's the Catch a Predator guy?
Chris Hansen, he comes
Hansen.
out.
Yeah.
Chris Hansen, that bitch. That's it. OP, come on, take it a step further.
And that's when I come in. I'm like, you're out of here, bitch. We're gonna go shoot. We're shooting the fourth 50 Shades movie next.
There we go. Exactly.
Oh man, but yeah, I think the boss definitely the a-hole.
Boss is the a-hole.
for sure. Very unprofessional, although would make great fan fiction.
I mean, she should really start an OnlyFans.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's what I feel like. That's our advice, just generally.
I will dominate. Go to like the boss should go to people who are looking for this. Like I will
criticize your
call
wardrobe.
you at your job and tell you to go buy new pants because this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You need something for your giant schlong.
Giant schlong.
Yeah.
Subtly giving them like.
I mean, everybody
compliments.
wins in that scenario.
Yeah.
That porn will be right under Double Dong on Pornhub.
Exactly.
Double
Yeah.
Dominatrix
yeah.
boss.
Sister categories. Yeah. Stepsister categories. Exactly.
I told my stepdaughter that she's the reason for my divorce. She ruined my marriage, and now I'm going to destroy her. Am I the a-hole?
Destroying children, I think, would go under the a-hole category.
I think we should bring back corporal punishment, like whipping children, flicking.
Flicking. Oh yeah.
Please don't flick children.
Don't be like Sam.
Yes, I don't flick children. It's like I don't flick children, and then it's like Samuel Donner, child flicker.
Editors, you know what to do.
No, actually, please don't do it. Yeah, I'm probably a major asshole here, but let me explain my reasoning. I came into her life 6 years ago when she was 11. Her father is still in her life and visits her frequently. At her house, not a problem though. He's a nice guy. Her mother is not happy. She hasn't been happy for a long time. Her daughter is one of the worst behaved kids I've ever seen, and it stresses my wife, we're not divorced yet, out every single day. She's made it no secret that she hates me. It's a classic for stepdaughters to hate their stepdads. right?
It's how it goes, man.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
she
Yeah.
hates you. You try to go to Chuck E. Cheese. She's like, you don't understand me.
Maybe because you took your stepdaughter to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yo, you hating on Chuck E. Cheese right now?
Teenage girls do not like Chuck E. Cheese.
That is probably true.
I was not a teenage girl, but I tried to go to Chuck E. Cheese when I was 17, and they wouldn't let me in because I wasn't a
actually?
legal adult.
He showed up. He wanted to flick some children. They were like, get out of here.
John Fry, child flicker.
Also, flick children just sounds terrible.
Hey, dude, I'm glad that I don't have that on my title anymore, and you've taken the crown.
No,
The child
editors,
flicking
no.
crown. I remember when she was 13 or 14, I paid for us to go to Disneyland as a family vacation. Cliche, I know. She refuses to go until it was just her and her mother.
So you pay for everything and you just sit back. Classic.
Sounds
I
about
was
right.
hurt. But
Yeah.
since the trip was solely to make her happy and was largely paid for already, I went along with it and stayed home.
That's amazing.
Oh, stuff like that is the norm. Oh my God. She'll demand her mother put her before me. Edit, as in excluding me from every family event. And my wife can't put her foot down. She'll treat her mother like a maid and nothing more. It's not my wife's fault. She has emotional issues that make it hard for her. But it's ruined the marriage because I've grown to resent coming home to be around my stepdaughter. Anything I do to try to bond with her is met with resentment. Girl's playing the long game.
Oh, man, she is playing 10D chess over
Yeah.
here. I mean,
Though she's 17 now, so bonding with her is no longer a possibility. Anyway, my wife and I separated over this. So I guess she got what she wanted.
Damn. It's like
Yeah.
reverse parent trap.
I know.
yeah, literally.
It's just too much for me to bear. But I'm not mad at my wife. I'm sad that she has to put up with her daughter's behavior for the rest of her life. I decided to give my stepdaughter a dose of reality and explain in no uncertain terms she is the reason for our divorce.
Destroyer.
You took away Disney. I will take away your life.
I didn't do this to spite her because frankly, I'm ready to move on with my life. I did it so she understands just how bloody selfish she is and how much emotional pain she put her poor mother through. I did it so she doesn't ruin her mother's future relationships like she did ours. She isn't moving out anytime soon, which I feel is like a subtle drag where it's like, this girl ain't up to nothing good. Wife and daughter's father are furious at me for telling their daughter this. They say it's going to be emotionally scarring for her, but quite frankly, I think she needed to be told. So, am I the a-hole? Question, is OP the a-hole for telling the stepdaughter that she is the direct cause of the divorce?
Absolutely. This child does not know any better. I mean, at this point, she's 19, but it sounds like I'm going to have some empathy for the child. She hasn't had a stable home life. Her mom's a pushover. Her stepdad took her to Chuck E. Cheese. Like, there's so much happening here, so much childhood trauma that she'll realize in therapy that, like, this guy didn't need to go in and put her in her place. Like, get out of Dodge. Like, the marriage is over.
Like, if he's actually trying to do what he's saying he's trying to do, which is like, hey, I want to help her in her relationships in the future. I want to make sure she doesn't do this to her mom's future relationships. Like, if he's actually trying to do that, does he say anything? And what does he say?
I think he needs to pass the combo to the mom. The mom needs to step up and be a parent.
Great
so
point.
you think don't have the conversation with the kid, have the conversation with the mom.
Well, it doesn't sound like they broke up because of a lack of love. It sounds like they apparently broke up because of this demon child. So
yeah,
I think, you know what? This is actually like a really twisted parent trap. Like, she thinks she's breaking them up, but really it brings them together over the common bond of having to try and fix this child.
Interesting.
Whoa, it could be
That's a nice plot
beautiful
twist.
moment of coming together.
That's right.
If only OP had the foresight. Hey, what do you guys think? All right. Was OP the a-hole? Is there a way he could have talked to the stepdaughter? We would love to know what you think in the comments below. So use those little pretty little fingers of yours, beautiful hands, and type on that keyboard and let us know.
Our subscribers always share their opinions. They always let their opinions be known.
Yes, and we love them.
And if you want to share your opinion, publicly subscribe, comment below, and we'll see you next time.
Love you so much. So much. So much.
Boom.